Welcome back to high school baseball on Comcast. Today from Antioch High School, it's the Panthers against the Freedom Falcons. Dan Wall and Tony Schultz here today. And you know, Tony, it's amazing that we're just here to broadcast a baseball game and not floating down to Panama or something.
We can rain out at any time. You never know.
It's amazing.
Clouds are in the sky as we speak.
We want to start by giving kudos to Eddie Bodine and his crew. Eddie Bodine's an assistant coach at Antioch. He spent hours on this field, removed over 150 gallons of water just so we could get this game in here today. So thanks to Eddie Bodine and his crew.
Anything for a ball game.
Unbelievable. So we're going to have a game here today, Antioch and Freedom. I can't even tell you when they last played. So today we're going to see a couple of pitchers, left-hander for Freedom, Chris Short, and for Antioch, Isaiah Bryant.
Chris Short, an off-speed guy. He started before early in the season, pitched well, also pitched in relief, did a very nice job. On the other side, you got Isaiah Bryant, a fastball slider guy, really relies on that fastball. Has like 3 or 4 different pitches, Dan, really trying to perfect at least 1 or 2 of them for each game.
So it should be a good game. It's the Antioch Panthers and the Freedom Falcons next here on Comcast. Good job.
My name is Alan Contando. If someone I knew were to choose a career in law enforcement, I would tell them to expect a very exciting career, a very rewarding career, but at the same time a very demanding career.
A typical shift, there's no typical shift. It can go from being extremely boring to extremely busy.
A typical shift here in Antioch, it's real busy, you go from call to call, and you never know what to expect.
To be successful working with the public, it takes a lot of patience. The ability to listen probably far longer than you would normally want to.
It's not like it's on TV. It's not CSI. It's not, like all the crime shows. It's definitely a lot of paperwork, and it can be a lot more mundane at times and tedious than people expect.
Honestly, police work has allowed me to serve my family better in terms of having a stable career.
There's a lot of good people that you work with, so you feel proud to be an officer, and it's a good career to have.
It's got a lot of rewards for it. It's not really going to be getting medals and pins and bonuses and all this stuff like in the private sector. It is the rewards are going to be inside. Getting the camaraderie from the family life of being who you get to work with. Also the inner reward and satisfaction knowing you actually can make some differences in some people's lives, but you also have to accept the fact that you can't change the world.
Comcast Game of the Week is made possible in part by a generous donation from the 19th Hole Casino at West Tregallis Road. Established in 1967, the 19th Hole has been completely renovated. Open 7 days a week, they feature Texas Hold'em, No Bust 21 Blackjack, Lowball, High-Low Splits, Pai Gow, and provide Keno and lottery sales. Every Tuesday and Wednesday beginning at 5:30 p.m., it's a no-limit Texas Hold'em shootout with winner take all. Friday and Saturday night is karaoke at 9 p.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m. is the NFL ticket on all the 14 TVs. And come play in the Sunday No Limit Texas Hold'em Tournament. That's the 19th hole behind the post office in Antioch. There are 2 types of airsoft players, the well-equipped and the targets. GamePod Combat Airsoft provides one of the largest selections of airsoft inventory in the U.S. From beginners to advanced players, GamePod has it all, specializing in competition-grade airsoft guns and accessories, tactical gear, BDUs, hydration systems, accessories, night vision, and the all-new Raptor fast attack vehicles. GamePod, where the elite will meet. Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh, featuring 14 screens of movie magic. All theaters have Lucasfilm THX digital sound systems and stadium-style seating. The prize wheel spins weekly with great prizes. The Prize Patrol, promotional events, and other activities happen monthly with great giveaways and prizes. Check out the Brendan Theater website for more information and great savings ideas. Enjoy the movie. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Back at Antioch High School, it's the Freedom Falcons versus the Antioch Panthers. Dan Wall and Tony Schultz here. There's a good look at Vern Martin, the head coach of the Antioch Panthers. Here's the Freedom batting order that Isaiah Bryant will face today. Chad Combs in right field leads off. Eddie Retagliata Jr. is the shortstop, and he bats second. Tony Perez at second base hits third. Dane James, the first baseman, is the cleanup batter today. Daniel Robello in left field bats fifth. Brandon Alexander, the son of Freedom head coach Gary Alexander and the former coach here of the Panthers, is the third baseman, and he hits sixth. Thomas Gasca is the designated hitter in the seventh spot. Ryan Santos, the catcher, bats eighth. Kevin Davis in center field hits ninth, and Chris Short will pitch today as Gasca will DH for him. And there's a good look at Isaiah Bryant, Tony.
Isaiah Bryant, St. Mary's taking a look at him. We talked about his repertoire, likes to come at you with hard stuff. And when a school like St. Mary's is looking at you, you must be doing something right.
Absolutely. Here's the defense for you. Two Kamajas in the outfield. And, of course, in center, that's Steve Sanchez, our colleague who's up here announcing the game for the Panthers. His son Jason in center field. Pantel, Martinez, DiMaggio, and Southall around the infield. Brian on the mound with Jake Lusty behind the plate for head coach Vern Martin. Hard to get a real good take on these teams, Tony, because of the rain and also injuries and illness. Antioch is without three of their best players. On the bubble today, Matt Evers is injured, Logan Hildebrand is injured, and Brian Fiore is no longer with the team. Those guys were all being counted on heavily, and a number of guys, including the starting catcher for Freedom, Vince Turnes, is out of the lineup today with an illness. So
a lot of guys in the DL.
Yeah, and it's it's hard, and I've been faced with this just in my preparation for softball league getting ready, is you just don't know when you're going to play. And these guys at least can still go practice in the gym or practice outside, but I can't. There's the plate umpire, Paul Case. On the bases today, Stu Kessler. And we're just about ready to get underway here. Antioch in the white home uniforms today. And don't forget the Comcast Game of the Week, only seen on your Comcast local origination channel, as we get to see Isaiah Bryant throwing the final warm-up pitches here today. Has a pretty good fastball, according to Coach Martin. Eddie Bodine also helps out there.
Fastball, likes to throw the split. He also goes with a slider and a change, but mostly fastball and splitter, Dan. It's one thing to have that many pitches in your repertoire, but it's another thing to bring the ball to the ballpark that day.
Absolutely. He was also a part of the Antioch basketball team this year that had a very good year, and of course big things are expected from the Panther basketball squad next year. They turned around a 3-22 year to win 22 games this year and make the playoffs, which is an amazing feat for the Panthers.
Yeah, good news for the basketball team, bad news for the baseball team, because Isaiah Bryant really did kind of get a late start here with the baseball as he was finishing up the basketball season. It looks like we're just about ready to get started here.
Wow, it's amazing. We're going to have a baseball game. Now, this field is not exactly perfect, folks. As we mentioned, Ed Bodine and some of his crew from the Pallet Patch, where he's the owner of that and also the owner of the 19th hole here in Antioch and a great sponsor of our games. He came out here today, removed over 150 gallons of water from this field. Chad Combs will lead off, a sophomore left-handed batter against the right-hander Bryant. You can see some patches of mud, and there's probably a little bit of water, but it doesn't look that bad, and it's playable. There's a good look at the infield, and I think at this point the kids just want to play, Tony.
Combs stands in 375 as he enters this at bat.
There's a fastball for a strike, and you can see pretty good velocity on that one.
I was just about to say, Dan, we don't have a radar gun to give you an exact reading, but that one was moving along pretty quickly. See how long he goes, Dan, before he starts changing up that repertoire.
That fastball's up high, 1-1. Retagliata and Perez to follow here in the first inning for the Freedom Falcons. 2-6 on the year. Not played a lot of games, as we mentioned. They have won one league game against Ignacio Valley. Fouled back.
Another fastball fouled and out of play.
You can see Brian is up in the strike zone. Most of his pitches so far have been either waist high or even above that. So
when you get that kind of velocity, and once you get above the letters right there, better off for the hitters just to lay off those kind of pitches. Of course, tough to do when you're in a 2-strike count.
That pitch is high as well, 2-2. Antioch is 6-3, and beat Liberty in a real close game last week, but lost to Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, 11-0, and that was a real shocker around the league because Pittsburgh, for all of its great football program, as that ball is hit, that's a one-hopper to Pantel. Pantel makes a nice play and throws out Combs for the first out. For all of Pittsburgh's prowess in football and other sports, they have never really been a power in baseball, and that was kind of a shocking result.
Well, right now, Dan, you really don't have too many losses to use right now because of the way Deer Valley and Clayton Valley are playing. You take a little spin, that ball kind of looks routine, Dan, but the way that ball was spinning, a much tougher play than it looked on camera.
Kind of inside out of it. Now here's Ed Retagliata Jr. His father, Eddie, of course, was a great athlete at Pleasant Hill High School, the now defunct Pleasant Hill High School. He was a shortstop at Well. I played against him back in the 70s. And his mother, Bridget, went to school here at Antioch. So there's a story for you right out of the gate. Matter of fact, his mom was a cheerleader here at Antioch High School.
That last pitch from Brian, his first breaking ball of the game. Nothing but fastball to the first hitter. And now back-to-back breaking pitches here. And both missing. Here's a good look at the big right-hander. Sometimes it takes a while, Dan, to get a feel for each individual pitch.
There's a fastball on the outside corner, strike 2, 1-2 to Retagliata, a junior shortstop.
Looks like he's got a pretty good feel for that fastball, though, Dan. I think he would be probably better suited to go ahead and stay with that, unless he finds the feel for the other pitches.
There's a grounder back to the pitcher, Bryant. Easy play over to first, Southall, and there's 2 down here in the top of the first inning. And Tony Perez will be the hitter now. No relation to the Tony Perez who played for the Reds, but Tony Perez used to bat around the number 3 spot in the order. So
pretty good baseball name. Not a bad one to go with. 7 games in for him. Dan, a 300 batting average so far.
Relayed to us that Bryant's fastball is in the 86-mile-per-hour range today. And there's a ground ball to second base. Slowly hit DiMaggio over to first, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning here in the first for Antioch, and they'll come up to bat here as we head to the bottom of the first, no score.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party.
Great pizza, great pasta,
Great people. Rocco's, a part of your community.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
There's a good look at Chris Short, the lefty for Freedom, and here's the lineup he'll face from the Antioch Panthers today. Bubba Kamages in right field is the leadoff hitter. Bobby DiMaggio at second base hits second. Jason Sanchez in center field to hit third. Nick Southall is the cleanup hitter and plays first base. Alex Pantel at third base hits fifth. Jake Lusty, the catcher, bats seventh. Mo Martinez at shortstop will hit eighth. Hits seventh. Isaiah Bryant, the pitcher, will bat eighth. And Roach Kamages in left field today hits ninth for Coach Vern Martin. And there's Short. And here's the defense for the Freedom Falcons today. Rebello, Davis, and Combs in the outfield. Alexander, Retagliata, Perez, and James around the infield. Short on the mound. Santos behind the plate today for head coach Gary Alexander. Tell us a little bit about Chris Short, Tony.
Well, Chris Short, off speed, a changeup and a curveball, sometimes a fastball. Dan, he likes to sneak that one in there. And when he's got the other things going, the fastball tends to look a little bit faster, and sometimes he can use it very effectively. 6 innings pitched against Pinole Valley, just 2 runs. Closed a ball game against Foothill and got the save, Dan. Also picked up the win against Ignacio Valley. He came on in relief and also knocked in the go-ahead runs to give himself that victory.
There's Gary Alexander. Now, of course, Gary was drafted by a number of teams, but actually signed with the Texas Rangers played for them for 3 years and also the Philadelphia Phillies. Never made it to the big show, but had a fine minor league career. Coached at Antioch for a number of years, and I actually used to play softball with Gary. He's a very good athlete. And then his son was coming through the program at Freedom. He took the job there. He's been there for 3 years. Here's Bubba Kamajas, who's playing right field today, who used to catch for Antioch, but due to some problems behind the plate, moved out to the outfield, but still one of the better hitters on the roster. 368 batter this year.
Looked at a good changeup that time. A lot of times, Andy, you want to throw something other than a changeup to sort of set up the changeup to give that hitter a couple of different looks, but really, that one came out of the hand looking very, very squirrely. Nice looking pitch on that first one.
And there's a good off-speed pitch. Short is an off-speed pitcher. Doesn't have a big-time fastball, but he'll move it around and throw that curve. Now, there's 4 Panthers parents who I graduated with. Not just went to school with, but their parents graduated with me. And Bubba's father, Gabe, and his mom, Jen, did not graduate with me, but Gabe did. And as we always like to joke, Steve and I, the graduation party held at the Kamajas has yet to end. It's still going on. That one's in the dirt. 1-2.
Good take by Kamajas that time. No, he's in a hole 0-2. You can figure that you're not going to get a strike in that situation, and he certainly didn't get one there. Sometimes very difficult for hitters to lay off in that 2-strike situation, Dan. Anything comes up there in the vicinity, they're going to be hacking at.
Off speed, line drive to short, and caught by Retagliata for out number 1. And that'll bring up second baseman Bobby DiMaggio.
Actually looked like he got a fastball that time, Dan, and really did something with it. And will line it to shortstop. But Short able to record the out. So far, 4 hitters in the ball game, Dan, all retired. In
the infield as well. DiMaggio, a junior, batting .500 on the year. As a matter of fact, the next 3 hitters all listed on the Max Prep side as .500 batters. So Antioch can hit the ball. Of course, Jason Sanchez, Steve's son, is on deck, and then Nick Southall. So we will we'll see some good. I don't know about the power type numbers, but good contact hitters here. There's a strike on the inside corner.
And there's that sneaky fastball. Every now and then he can get it over there, Dan. The key is he's got to put it in a good location, and that time it was right over the inside part of the plate.
With all this rain, the scheduling of games has really been affected. So one thing I had noted is that we've done every team in our leagues. They've been on in something: football, volleyball, basketball, rugby, lacrosse, whatever. So the rest of the season's totally up in the air. If we have a game, that'll be the game. And if that we can get fitted in somehow, that's where we'll be. Today we were lucky to get this game on the air. And we'll try to get something on next week as well.
We'll have something for you. We talked about good baseball names with Perez. DiMaggio, not a bad baseball name.
And not far from here, where Joe was born in Martinez.
And Bobby, just 4 games, 5 RBIs already, and he takes ball 4 there.
There's a walk. And here's Jason Sanchez. I commented to Jason earlier. Last time I see him, he didn't have Dan Wall-like hair. But Steve says he hasn't been able to get him near the barber.
Well, Steve might be his father, but his idol is Dan Wall.
Yes. Now here's another one, not Steve. See, Steve graduated in '73. We were just happy when his wife Natalie, who graduated with me, left, because that meant Steve stopped hanging around the high school.
We got to watch Bobby here on the bases. 5 stolen bases on the year. Now timeout called. And of course, the tough thing for a base stealer, when you look at that left-handed pitcher, he's kind of staring right at you. You know, but I heard Lou Brock say on a telecast one time that he felt going against a left-handed pitcher, Dan, he could read them better. But it seems like it never really works out that way.
I couldn't hit off a left-handed pitcher to save my life, and I was a right-handed batter. I love to hit off right-handers. Curveball never bothered me. Lefties threw me.
Well, that time, DiMaggio looked a little fooled. He was actually going back to first base when the pitch was delivered. So he's going to try to get a read off of Short here. And like I said, Lou Brock said it was easier to read him left-hander when he's staring right at you, but normally left-handed pitchers certainly have an easier time holding runners on than do right-handed pitchers.
And in that sense, it might be true. Of course, I didn't have any speed to take a lead, so that hardly mattered to me. But I was considering it more from the batting standpoint. You would think a right-hander would like to face a lefty. I always preferred facing righties.
But still, at this level, Dan, I don't think you get a chance to really face enough of them. When you get in the higher levels, you get to start. You face so many of you, really get a true read on where the pitch is coming from.
DiMaggio's certainly messing with Short's head a little bit here. There's a fastball for a strike. Sanchez hitting .500, playing center field, and getting some looks, as Steve has told us, from St. Mary's and Fresno State.
A couple of big-time schools.
Fresno State is a fun place to go. There's a lot of interest in their programs down there, and good facilities. I mean, their football program draws regularly 45,000 people to their games.
Played a great game against USC earlier this year.
Absolutely. Runner goes, and a hit and run on and a fouled off, so it's 0-2 to Sanchez. Southall on deck. By the way, today just across the way here is Amanda Williams and the Freedom Falcon girls are playing. We'll have them in a couple weeks for you against Deer Valley. She, of course, is one of the premier pitchers in all the nation, and Freedom is actually the third-rated team in the state of California. And that's the Antioch Panthers running off the field.
Yeah, I understand some of those ladies can throw a fastball.
She can throw one very, very hard and very well. And I think she's only given up 1 or 2 hits all year. Oh, and that hits Sanchez. So 2 runners on now and just 1 out. And Nick Southall, another .500 hitter for Antioch, will step to the plate. Now, if that had been Steve Sanchez, we'd probably be separating the pitcher and the hit batter right about now. Don't you think, Tony?
That one's certainly unintentional, this situation. You don't want to hit anybody. Talking about Southall, 8 RBIs for him on this young season. So even though these guys haven't played in a whole lot of games, Dan, some of these Panthers are doing a nice job driving in runs. Southall's got a chance to drive one in with a base hit here.
Gonna have to watch the runners here. Good speed on the base pass. Curveball for a strike. Alex Pantel, the third baseman, is on deck here for Antioch here in the first inning. No score.
You have Perez, now the second baseman for Freedom, shading over toward the bag, looking for a throw back there, Dan, and a lot of room on that right side. Chances are Southall, if he hits short, likely would pull the ball.
Pick off to second. That was kind of a herky-jerky motion to second by Short.
It looks like he's got the leg going one way, the arm and the head going the other.
Oh, 1 pitch, off speed, little dribbler towards third, and it's a foul ball. So it'll be 0-2.
Yeah, Jason Sanchez, Dan, with 10 RBI, Southall with 8, DiMaggio with 5, so certainly no problem scoring runs for the Antioch Panthers.
Well, Jason Sanchez had an 8 RBI game a couple of weeks ago for Antioch.
Well, that'll perk up the numbers.
That drives the numbers up. I was telling Steve, I don't think I've ever had an 8 RBI game, even in softball.
Maybe backyard wiffle ball, but that's about it.
By myself, I was the only hitter. Off speed and outside for 1-2.
And boy, DiMaggio's getting a real big lead. Once Short makes his motion toward the plate, DiMaggio's getting down near the shortstop position here before he stops. See whether or not he'll try to swipe third.
That's a nice protection swing by Southall. This is going to be a tough play for the second baseman, and there's no play. That was so close to the strike zone, he had to swing. Great at-bat for Southall, just inside out at it towards the hole. The second baseman for Freedom, Perez, was nowhere to be found. He was out of position, guarding against the runner at second. And look at that, just inside out of the ball, and made something happen, Tony.
And how did he not pull this ball? I mean, this is just absolutely a very strange play. You'd think with this pitcher-hitter situation, you would certainly think the ball would be pulled. And, of course, Freedom playing that accordingly, and they are just absolutely crossed up by that little nubber headed out towards second base. It's an infield hit.
Here's Alex Pantel, the number 5 hitter, bases loaded. 1 out for Antioch in the first. Fastball's outside, 1-0. Another parent and great friend of the program, Tyne, of course, his father, Keith, is one of the owners of Pantel Music Box, who's one of our sponsors. His mom, Lori, went to Antioch, graduated in '77. Keith was a little before that. I don't think he wants me to share that to give away his age. Oh, pass ball. Here comes DiMaggio, and he's going to score, and Antioch's on the board 1-0. And it kind of reminds you of the rally the Giants had last night, if you remember. In the third, They had a run on an infield single, a hit batter and a double play, or walk and a double play. And so far, Antioch's yet to hit the ball in the infield, and they have a run.
You know, they had a walk, a hit batter.
And an
of course,
infield single.
Infield single. And now a pass ball to get that run.
Yeah.
So Short put himself in a lot of this damage with the hit batter and the walk.
There's a strike on the outside corner.
But really, with the one, the little dribbler towards second and now the pass ball, can hardly blame him for those. But still, when you give the free bases, they usually come back to bite you, and they have.
That ball is down.
That hit the ground first,
It
and
did
then
hit
came up and hit the bat.
Yeah.
So that would not be a foul ball. That would just be another ball. Take a look here. And yep, bounced off the ground.
That's an interesting rule because if he had hit it, it would still be a playable ball.
And yet it's not a foul ball.
Yeah, it's kind of a different approach to it. Second and third, one out, and a foul back.
And I talked about interesting rules watching a ball game last night, Dan, and did you know that you can get an outfield assist even when an out is not recorded?
And how do you do that?
You throw the ball, say, from center field to the second baseman who goes to make a tag. Second baseman drops it. Second baseman gets an error on the play. You, as a center fielder, get an assist, which I thought was strange. How can you record an assist if you don't make a play, make an out?
That is strange. Called third strike.
Strike three.
I don't think Pantel agreed with that call.
An emphatic called strike three.
But let's take a look at it here.
It's a little outside from here,
Close.
but still, that's a situation, Dan, when you got two strikes, you're expecting the hitter to be swinging.
Here's junior catcher Jake Lusty. Lusty's taken over behind the plate since the move of Kamajas to the outfield. 250 hitter.
And Short now, Dan, just one pitch of getting out of this with just one run scored after having the bases loaded with just one out.
Mo Martinez on deck here.
So let's see if Short can do his good bit of damage control here. Pitch outside.
Pitch was outside.
And that's probably some of the toughest thing, especially for young pitchers, Dan, when all of a sudden you get guys on base, some guys start hitting the ball hard, whatnot. You know, can you limit that inning to just one or two runs when it looks like the other team's going to get a big inning?
That was inside, 2-1 now to Lusty. Sanchez is at third. Southall down at second. 1 run in, 1-0 Antioch here. In what will be the never-ending season for these teams, Steve. You know, they were talking in the paper the other day about what they're going to do. There's going to be double headers. They might have to shorten some leagues if they don't start getting games in. So, actually, that was a 3-1 pitch, and that ball is low, ball 4. Well, that's one of the problems of we do not have the SBC Park scoreboard here, Tony. And
No. Yeah, it's a little difficult. It does say first inning on the scoreboard.
well, I'm
It doesn't say
aware of the
anything else.
inning
Yeah.
and the score because that's in my scorebook, but a little hard to call all of the balls and strikes. Now, I am watching. I just happened to glance over towards the. It looked like there actually was a run score, but I guess they made an out over there on the softball side. But Freedom's in the field. That would have been something if Antioch could have. Just to score off Amanda Williams is an amazing thing. There's a curveball for a strike. First pitch to Martinez.
That one coming in pretty high in the strike zone, a very hittable pitch. But Martinez laying off that first pitch, as a lot of hitters like to do.
Foul back, 0-2.
That one a little bit higher in the strike zone, and now, of course, Martinez cannot afford to be as choosy. We've already seen somebody rung up on a called third strike at a pitch that probably was a little bit outside, so I can tell you something that don't just sit there and watch it. If it's in that wheelhouse, if it's close, you better be hacking.
Bases loaded, 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning from Antioch. 0-2 pitch to Martinez. Is a ground ball towards third. Alexander makes the play, steps on third to retire the side, and Antioch, after the early rally, only ends up with 1 run. 1 run on 1 hit here in the first. 1-0 Antioch as we head to the second inning.
If you dump your oil, tempers boil, it ends up in the bay. Oh, smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Don't want your oil to choke us, you're in focus. Your neighbors just might say, smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Well, it's not fun to pay a big fine for polluting our water supply. No, it's not fun to talk to police as the neighbors walk on by. So now you're reeling, how's the wallet feeling? A big fine you're gonna pay. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera.
Isaiah Bryant taking the last of his warm-up pitches here before the top of the second inning. Rock Bottom Records over there. The new Buck Cherry record is coming out next week. Remember Buck Cherry? Remember them? Oh, you don't remember them? I'll be down there to get that from Rick at Rock Bottom Records. Antioch Opticians. Hi to Greg Vallejo and his crew. Images of 3 Hair Salon. Hi to the girls down there. The new Mecca Cafe. Guillermo, of course, serving up the best Mexican food in the area. And Clayton Mind and Body Connections. You've seen that commercial. Very relaxing, very intriguing.
Massage therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw with the stones laying on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could use that every now and then, I'll tell you.
That's been a familiar sight, but not for the reasons that we're using
not
it today.
Not for shading the sun.
Yes, it's been for the rain. I've actually used my umbrella a couple times walking to the Shark Tank the last couple of weeks. Amazing. Here's Dane James, the first baseman.
Very efficient first inning for Isaiah Bryant, Dan. Just 9 pitches. Getting the Falcons in order, 1, 2, 3. And let's see how he works here in the second. And really, that fastball, his best pitch in that first inning.
Ooh, and that one had some steam on it, but it was up high.
I'll tell you, James barely flinched out of the way of that. Kind of high and tight, but he felt pretty comfortable.
James, the big lefty, first baseman, senior. There's a fastball right down the pipe.
Good looking pitch right there, Dan. That'll keep everybody honest because sooner or later, you know from Bryant you're going to get something off speed, something other than that fastball. Just when are you going to get it? That's the question. Looked like he took something off that time and stayed high. Appeal down to first base. No swing, says the umpire. 2 balls and a strike now here to James.
James will be followed by Daniel Rebello and Brandon Alexander here in the second. Antioch leads 1-0. Ooh, he had something on that one too. Big cut.
Fastball again. And I'm telling you, Dan, sometimes it gets to the point where you got just one pitch working, but if it's working that well, you might want to just stay with that. Because when Bryant has gone with something other than the fastball, hasn't quite worked out as well, but the heater's been very good, and there it is again.
And it's fouled back. Antioch hasn't really played one of the powers yet in the BVAL. We'll talk about that after. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria voted best pizza in the East Bay, Ignacio Valley Road at Oak Grove. Of course, the pepperoni pizza is legendary over there. Antioch beat Ignacio and beat Liberty, lost to Pittsburgh. Today playing Freedom. They have not yet to play Deer Valley, Clayton Valley, and De La Salle. So those are the big 3.
Well, De La Salle is 5-3, but Deer and Clayton both at 7-1 right now, Dan, and they've just got a host of players playing great baseball.
Well, Deer Valley is the #1 team in the Times poll, the #3 team in the Chronicle poll. Clayton Valley is #2 and #4. And if everything holds out and the weather holds, we will have the Antioch Panthers at Clayton Valley for you sometime next week. We plan on doing that game next Tuesday. Like I said, the way things are going now, we could have the water polo match at Monte Vista.
I want to get a look at Matt North over there at Deer Valley, Dan. 7 RBIs and an ERA of under 1.
Ooh, strike 3, fastball inside corner. Nice pitch that time by Bryant.
Yeah, beautiful location, right over the inner part of the plate. And James could not pull the trigger that time, and that's just a testament to how good that fastball is. You just sit there and watch it, Dan, and you hope the umpire calls it a ball.
Here's Daniel Rebello, the left fielder, batting .286 on the year. That's a fastball. Yeah, Bryant can really bring it. I'm mid-80s. I would expect a lot of this stuff to be coming up there, especially his fastball. Hasn't shown a lot of off-speed stuff yet. He did that time, and now that one kind of slid in there somehow.
That might have been the slider there, Dan. If he's trying to use a changeup, he really doesn't look like it because the The motion did not look like he was throwing a fastball that time.
Correct. 0-2. And that's a good waste pitch on 0-2 in the dirt. Freedom yet to have a base runner in this ball game.
You're talking about Deer Valley, Dan, Ryan Williams, Justin Mancini, and Jared Denham all hitting over 400.
Of course,
for
Denham
the Wolverines right now.
Followed both of his brothers, one who's very close to making the Cleveland Indians roster, Daniel. There's a fastball for strike 3. So 2 strikeouts called here in the second inning, and Brandon Alexander, the third baseman, will step in, batting .273. And don't forget Freshy Air Systems Incorporated, residential, commercial, and industrial. Give them a call at 800-794-2653. Brandon's father is the head coach and the third base coach right now, Gary. He's a great baseball player in his own right. You can see that attempt at some sort of off-speed pitch. He just doesn't seem to have a smooth and fluid emotion as you would need to get those over. But Bryant certainly can throw a fastball.
Well, and also, Dan, his motion changes when he's throwing something other than the fastballs. So that will not help those other pitches be effective at all.
That ball's down. 2-0.
You know, the thing is, if he's got that fastball going, you want him to use it more. How long will he last is the question. Of course, only a 7-inning game here, so sometimes you can go a little bit farther. But after a while, throwing fastballs, you can get kind of tired.
Well, you'd have to say that both these pitchers are well rested.
Everybody's well rested.
Yeah. Fastball for a strike. Like as I mentioned, you know, I've been trying to get ready for a softball season. You can't practice on the weekends. You call down, you know, and then today you're like relieved that they tell you they canceled the games tonight because you're not ready to play. Oh, there's a hard hit ball to second. It kicks off the inside of DiMaggio's glove. And that's going to be an error on the second baseman and the first base runner of the ball game for Freedom.
Ball hit very sharply towards second. Another good fastball by Bryant. But DiMaggio just not able to handle it. And the ball is hit sharply, but DiMaggio is back there in plenty of space. Dan has plenty of time, and he just booted it. So Freedom gets their first base runner, Dan, here.
2 down in the second, runner at first, and Thomas Gaska, the designated hitter, steps in. Gaska batting .333 on the year, and the first pitch is a fastball for a strike.
Now, I think if you're the Falcons right now, Dan, there's no reason to come up there and expect anything other than a fastball, because as we've been talking about, he'll telegraph when he's not going to throw it.
Catcher Ryan Santos is on deck.
Good looking move back to first base by Bryant there. A little Fred Astaire hop to get off the mound and get that ball over there in really good time.
Something I was never good at was that pickoff move. Fouled back.
Now a 2-strike count here. And you'd figure Bryant would try to waste one here, at least go out of the strike zone with the 0-2 pitch, which is customary for a pitcher, but we shall see.
Alexander leads from first. Throw to first. That was almost wild. Good play by Southall too.
Yeah, good move, not really a good throw. Southall was to skip over the base runner that time to keep that one from going down the line. Saved his pitcher a base right there.
And that ball gets by the catcher Lusty, and Alexander is going to go down to second on the wild pitch.
So an error, a wild pitch, Dan, and now Freedom has a chance to tie this ball game up with a base hit. Take a look there. Clearly hopping before that one got to the plate. Definitely going to go against Bryant with the wild pitch that time.
Keeping in our theme of Go Sharks, that one got through the 5-hole on Lusty. Fastball is up and away. 2-2. And, you know, even though it's sunny out today and it hasn't rained for about 24 hours, there's still a lot of clouds in the sky. We just can't get the sun back.
The way it's been this last month, Dan, it could turn on you at any time. And they are going to call a balk.
They did call a balk. I heard it from someone.
Somebody yelled it.
Gary Alexander, and the ump started pointing, and that was kind of nutty. I think that was a high school balk as opposed to a professional balk. Here's a look at the sky around us. Now here's. He must not have stopped in that motion. Someone screamed, that's a balk. So now we have a runner at third, and that ball's fouled down the right field side. Yep, there's the football stands. We've been there many times. We'll be there, I believe.
Running for freedom, Ryan Santos.
We've been over at the Antioch football field many times, and I think the next year I think we're back at Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken, for the football game. But we'll certainly see the Antioch Panthers next year.
Talk about their basketball team getting turned around. They could hope that the football team would do the same. Take a look at that one. And
that one was sailed inside for a full count now to Gasca. Runner at third is Alexander. 2 down, 1-0 Antioch. And that was right down Broadway for strike 3, Tony, and that'll retire the side. Freedom gets a base runner on the air, but they fail to score as we head to the bottom of the second. It's 1-0 Antioch.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader, the person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Since 1980, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated has been keeping Contra Costa cool and comfortable. With an expert crew of technicians and staff, let Fresky be your indoor comfort professionals. Our Lennox Signature home comfort systems are designed to deliver efficient and economical air and heat for your individual needs. Air conditioning to heating, duct cleaning to emergency service calls. Fresky has you covered. From the homeowner to the commercial world, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated. Reliable and trusted service since 1980.
There's a good look at the foothills surrounding Antioch as we're out at Antioch High School today. Dan Wall, Tony Schultz, Matt Bolander, our great Comcast crew as always. And Matt put together in record time today to get this game on. Go Cycles, the 19th Hole Casino and Lounge, where Eddie Bodine hangs out a lot. He's the owner. Images of 3 Hair Salon, Celia's Mexican Restaurant right down the street from us today, and Jason Hernandez Pacific Funding Group, some of the great friends of the program. Don't forget to support all the great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week. Stop by, say hi, and tell them that you watched our game, and that's why you're there, right, Tony?
Well, there, if you want to play a little cards, you know where to go. You want to get your hair done, Mexican food, plenty of spots for that.
There you go, the Comcast Game of the Week and our sponsors, and that was all I can remember. I can only
Comcast
read
Game
so
of the Week
fast.
only on your local origination channel.
I remember that part. Sometimes they throw those new taglines up there. And
yeah, those are tough.
Can't get them all. Isaiah Bryant, the pitcher, leads off for Antioch here. It'll be Bryant, Kamages, that's Roach Kamages, and Bub Kamages.
Short with a pretty tough first inning. Dan thought he did a very nice job to keep it to only 1 run. Had a bases loaded 1-out situation that he was able to pitch through, giving up just the 1.
Ground ball to Retagliata on 3 hops. Throws over to first in time, 1 down.
Ball hit pretty hard, but a lot of bounces out to the shortstop. And Retagliata takes care of that one nicely.
As I mentioned, his dad was a shortstop at Pleasant Hill, one of the great athletes in Pleasant Hill High School history, and he went on to play softball many years competitively, and great player, good guy. Contra Costa Clean Water Program, 1-800-NO-DUMPING, or www.funnelhead.com. Yeah, don't throw anything down the storm drains during all these storms.
And you're subject to a fine if you do that.
Absolutely. People should be fined for littering. I'm tired of driving around both of these towns and seeing dumping and litter. It's just horrible. Here's Roach Kamages, junior, batting .353, playing left field today for Antioch. Oh, excuse me, he's a senior. I know what I mentioned. I had written down here my little notes. Of course, his brother and him are twins.
Well, Roach checked his swing that time, called a swing, and not very happy with that as the ball got away. Looked like he held up, but the umpire says no, it's a strike.
And there's a line drive. Oh, and that one kind of had a little bit of a spin on it, and it spun away from Retagliata as he moved to his left. The ball kind of faded back to the right, and it's by him. I'm going to go to you. I always go to Coach Whitman. Are we giving him a hit or an error on that play, Tony?
I got to give him an error on that one, Dan. Hit pretty hard. Short tried to come in with a fastball, Dan, and he's got to spot that fastball better than that because it's not fast enough to get by people when it's right down the middle. But still, you look out there at that kind of play, probably should be made.
One out, runner at first, and top of the order for Antioch here in the second. Bub Kamajas, who lined out to Retagliata back in the first inning. Throw to first.
James holding Kamajas on there at first base.
I think that's how Antioch has to manufacture runs. They don't have a lot of big boppers in the lineup as they've had in the past, and they get guys on. They do have good speed, though. There's a lot of guys that can run on this team, and I think they like to mess with the pitchers and extend the innings and do what they can. Kamajas shows bunt, takes a curve for a strike.
Well, you see Tony Perez, the second baseman, is kind of favoring toward that second base bag. And then with James holding the runner on there at first, a lot of room on that right side. Let's see if Bubba can take advantage of that. And when the pitch is thrown, Perez is hustling over there toward first base.
Runner goes. Oh, that's a little bloop, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Retagliata out to get it. The way this field usually plays the ball very hard because it can get hard. It's not watered as well. We've seen some balls really take hops, but it's real wet today, and it's going to play like a sponge. That ball just dropped and died. I think if Roach Kamajas could have identified that ball, he might have been able to go to third, but he held on after seeing that Retagliata might get there. So a single for his brother. He's on at first. The second hit of the game for the Panthers. Runners now at first and second, one down, and DiMaggio, who walked in the first, is the batter. Jason Sanchez on deck for Antioch here with a 1-0 lead. That's a fly ball, shallow center field. The center fielder coming in, Davis, makes the catch for out number 2.
And a big out right there for short, Dan. It was a nice job to get DiMaggio to induce that easy fly ball. Now 2 outs, so nice job of pitching there.
Not far from here is Game Pod Combat Airsoft, where the elite will meet. 520 West 2nd Street in Antioch, 755 game. Thanks to them and all of our great sponsors here on the Comcast Game of the Week. Just about a month and a half left, and then be the big summer break before football, Tony. And, of course, we have a lot of fun during football season.
Yeah, they're already talking NFL draft and schedules coming out.
Schedule came out today.
Football never really seems to end, does it?
The 49ers actually, in a weird, the Arizona Cardinals never used to play the first couple weeks at home because of the heat in Phoenix.
Right.
But with the new stadium opening in the Dome, that way if it's so hot they can close it and play inside. The 49ers open at Arizona first week of the season.
Arizona looks to be much improved.
That's an off-speed pitch down in the dirt. Kamajas looked at third, but goes back to second.
Really, Santos up on that ball very quickly. Kamajas doing the wise thing, Dan retreating back towards second base. So short, walking the tightrope in the first, Dan gave up just the 1, walking it a bit here in the second. Trying to keep the Panthers scoreless
He's
here.
dancing in a little bit of danger here in both innings. There's a ground ball up the middle, Retagliata to first in time, and that retires the side. 2 runners left on for Antioch in the second. We head to the third inning from Salcino Field. It's 1-0 Antioch.
I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party.
Great pizza. Great pasta.
Great people. Rocco's, a part of your community.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
There is the softball game that is going on. You know that I can't tell if that's Amanda Williams pitching or not. Yeah, I don't know if that's her number. I can't see from here, but her sister is now on the team.
Really?
Yeah, and her first at bat, she had a home run. So, and she's the pitcher next year probably. So it's and there's another one in 7th grade. So there's going to be Williams forever out there at Freedom. So and that's not good for the BVL coaches because they were kind of happy when Amanda was she's been there for 4 years now.
Yeah,
Get her out.
Softball, sorry not to cut you off, but women's softball really kind of moving up the ladder. I mean, the college it's
around here
really big.
Antioch,
but also they have a pro league as well. I think I've seen
it's in the Midwest. Yeah.
ESPN is
Jenny Finch and her gang hang out there and play a little bit. Cal's very good in this area, and it's really it's a lot of fun to watch too. We're gonna have a couple games for you next week. We hope to do Liberty at Clayton Valley next Thursday and show that the following week after with the Easter break coming. And then when we come back, we'll hopefully get Deer Valley and Freedom out in Antioch. But it's just like you said, if you got to fit them in when the rain is. So just check those listings, and we'll try to have something for you. Yeah, check those listings and the times on the weekend. Ryan Santos, the hitter, junior catcher. We remember him from the football schedule just a little bit. One thing I was given the numbers for Freedom, and they are nowhere near what they actually wrote down on their scorecard. So I'm changing them as I go. That's a lot of fun doing this, Tony. I was telling someone the other day, we don't have a 500-page media guide like the Giant guys do. That's fouled back.
I like when you get 2 sets of numbers too. Keeps you on your toes. You're not sure exactly which one.
I just want to give the folks an idea what we went through this week. Okay, we were going to do a game on Tuesday. That didn't happen. Okay, that was immediately canceled on Monday. We weren't going to do this game. We're going to do a game on Friday. The decision was made last night by Antioch's coaches. I got this news while I was sitting at a Stockton Thunder hockey game last night in Stockton that they're going to play the game. Okay, I'll finish after this pitch. That pitch is high. So I call Matt, who's at the Queen concert. He says, let's try and do it. He puts together the crew and the scissor lift today, calls you, and we got the stats at 1.
I found out at 8:35 this morning. Yeah. But at least we get to do a game.
I'm just saying, it's not like there's a schedule and it's written down. There's a bunch of tarps over the field in the morning. It took a lot of effort to get this game done, and of course Antioch and their crew to get this field ready to play on.
And at least Max Preps actually had some rosters and some stats for us. So that came in handy a little bit.
Fastball, and that's strike number 3. That's the 4th consecutive called strike out for a Freedom batter, Tony.
And yeah, right now Bryant is really dominating. In fact, only one batter has reached so far. And take a look here.
Don't forget the gameofweek.com. Visit our website. A lot of highlights on there. And while we have the opportunity, before Kevin Davis steps in, I want to congratulate Coach Ivankovich. I don't know if you saw the paper yesterday. He's stepping aside as the head coach at Ignacio Valley to spend more time with his children. A real nice guy and a guy we had a lot of fun with. And good luck to him. Maybe we'll see him again down the road. Pop up to second. DiMaggio there. Out number 2 quickly. And Bryant is quietly having a very nice game here so far.
Cruising right along, Dan. So far, he's retired 7 out of 8 batters. And the only person to reach, the only time the Freedom actually reached base, I believe that was an error. So right now, Brian is really dominating the Freedom hitters here and doing it, Dan, with his fastball.
Chad Combs steps in.
Batting for Freedom, Chad Combs.
And there's another strike. I tell you, Bryant cruising right now in this one. 0-1 to Combs. Ritagliata, the on-deck batter. 2 down here in the 3rd, and 1-0 Antioch. You don't want to say it too loud, but so far there has yet to be a hit for the Freedom Falcons.
Yeah, always go at least halfway through the game before you start talking about it.
And there's a little dribbler out in front to Bryant. He throws to first in time. Another 1-2-3 inning for Antioch. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. 1-0 Panthers.
Great Mexican food, home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food. Is your laptop or home computer driving you crazy? Paramount Technology of Concord has the answers. Located behind Tower Records in Concord, Paramount Technology has it all. Quick in-house laptop repair and servicing, mobile computer service calls, and great customer service for those wishing to have a computer made to your specifications. Your computer wizards with expert service and products for today's computer world. That's Paramount Technology of Concord at 1252 Diamond Boulevard in Concord, the computer wizards of Contra Costa.
There's a good shot of Chris Short. I was going to say a good short of Chris Shot. Yes. I always wanted to make sure my shots weren't short, either on the basketball court or entertaining. But anyway, that's another story for another time. Here's Nick Southall to lead off for Antioch. Southall has the had the hit for Antioch.
We talked about how well Isaiah Bryant's pitched, but Short's actually pitched very well himself. He did have that walk and the hit batter, and that walk ended up scoring the lone run of the ball game.
That ball's hit hard, and that's going to go into center field and get by the center fielder, Davis, as Southall heads to second with a double. Once that ball hits that, now the ball kind of gets away, but Alexander backing up, we'll get to it. That ball, once it got out there, it's an adventure. You don't know if it's going to hit in the mud, hit in a hole, or bounce up to you, and James wasn't there in time. Southall doubles to lead off the third.
You take a look over here coming over towards right center field, and it's very wet out there, but they drain so much of the water off the field. I understand that some parts of the outfield are much drier than others, so as you said, you don't know where that ball is going to go or how fast it's going to roll once it hits in the outfield.
Of course, not really knowing the Freedom players as well as you would. If they had a bunch of guys who were hitting singles, or if you had a team that hit singles, you want to put a lot of water in the areas in front of the outfielders.
Sure.
Kind of like the Giants used to water down the base pass when Maury Wills. Yeah, he came in. So.
Yeah, the area right in front, right around first base was always saturated, so whenever he took a lead, he was kind of running in mud.
Third hit for Antioch in the ballgame. Pantel shows bunt, pushes a bunt towards the first baseman. Nice play. He's retired, but Southall gets down to third base and into scoring position with one out.
That's the way to play it. Tight ball game right here. Figure you pick up a base, you're willing to give an out. And Antioch gets the sacrifice down, and now a fly ball could get the second run across.
Jake Lusty walked in the first inning. He was stranded at first base eventually in that inning. Freedom brings in.
Early in the ball game, yeah, but they know against Bryant they're likely not to get very many runs. So they do not want to sit back there and let a ground ball score this run.
Bring the infield in. Lusty needs to do here, I would think, is hit a medium to semi-deep fly ball. Would be, unless he can get a hit. You don't want to hit the ball right at an infielder in this situation.
Yeah, the infield is a ball hit at them. They can cut off and get to the plate quicker, but by being in like this, Dan, they certainly don't cover nearly as much ground as they would otherwise.
And that's swing and a miss for Lusty.
And that was a good breaking pitch right there. That's a nice bite down and in to Lusty, and he really missed that one by plenty.
There's Southall over third. He had the leadoff double. Sacrificed over to third by Pantel. One out here in the bottom of the third. Antioch ahead 1-0 on the game of the week. Lusty calls time at the plate. Oh, beautiful curveball for strike three.
And I'll tell you, he's thrown a couple of his best pitches of the game, Dan, in that at bat right there. I think back-to-back pitches, a couple of curveballs with a couple of big benders there. Take another look there. And boy, that one is really fallen 12-6 right there. And you can't blame Lusty for taking that one because, you know, either he's fooled or he knows he just can't hit it. You just kind of hope the umpire calls it a ball.
Second strikeout, both called strikes for Short. Now, I was thinking, we were talking about the football field. I happened to look over there. Don't forget Velocity Sports Performance in Concord, another great friend of the program. I'm trying to think, Tony. You did we do the Antioch-Pittsburgh game in Pittsburgh this year? My mind's starting to go a little bit, Steve. Was it?
That was a Saturday game.
Yeah,
I
it was.
believe.
Yeah, next year it's here. That's right. And we already start trying to put that schedule together.
I think that's usually a Saturday game every year, isn't it?
It's been a Saturday
Little
game since 1975.
Those are the ones that I usually can't make.
That's right. You weren't there at that game. I think we brought Joey out of retirement like we always do in his dapper banana and
Joey Acuna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Banana flavored suit. Yes. 0-1 to Martinez. Bryant is the on-deck hitter. 1-0. Runner at third here in the third inning. That ball's outside. 1-1.
So I'll tell you, Short's been able to wiggle out of a couple of jams already, trying to do it here again in the third. Of course, getting that big second out on the strikeout down, the infielders get to go back. And now, more than likely, the Panthers will need a hit to get that run across. Curveball didn't have quite as much break that time, stayed way outside.
2-1 to Martinez, the junior shortstop. Here's a good look at the pitcher today for Freedom, Chris Short. Fastball outside, 3-1.
And Short, he's got a figure here, Dan. He's got a couple of bases open. So no reason to come right in with this one. Situation where you probably want to make the batter hit your pitch.
Good look from the scissor lift. 3-1 to Martinez. In the dirt. Good look that time for Martinez. He walks. Puts runners at first and third with 2 outs, and Isaiah Bryant steps in. Bryant grounded out to shortstop in his first at-bat. Hertz Equipment Rental, thanks for the scissor lift tonight, guys. Hertz Equipment Rental, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Give them a call at 680-0316 for all your rental needs. You know, it's all that kind of rental equipment. You can, all kinds of different stuff. You can,
Yard work.
Yes.
Rent all that kind of different stuff.
Construction. You know, it's funny, Tony, I was thinking about it when I played here, and that was 30 years ago. God, that's scary. We didn't have a fence. And none of that stuff was in center field. Maybe after this, you can see it right there. See all those buildings and the scoreboard right behind the pitcher? None of that stuff was there. If you hit a ball on a fly on the blacktop, it was a home run.
And all the trees that you see were just potted plants.
They were very small. And then, of course, we had, if you hit it, there's a path out there as well. So all the asphalt was a home run if you hit it on a fly. If it rolled, it was a triple. So that was the way that was scored back in those days.
The old ground rules.
Ground rules from...
Fence now takes care of all that.
Yep, Salcino. Bill Snelson's great coach here at Antioch High School around the time Steve was here at school. Runner goes. They fake the throw, so Antioch now with 2 runners in scoring position. They'll call that catcher's indifference.
Defensive indifference, no question.
Or defensive indifference.
Because neither one of the middle infielders even went over to second base to cover.
There's Tom Selleck and, of course, Dan and Tony. Butch Rounsonville, one of the retired numbers here. Jeff Pico, a great pitcher here. And we'll pan over after this pitch and show you the other numbers if we have time. Pitch was off. Let's see if we can get those other 2 numbers in for you as we go across now to the right. Alex Sanchez, who played at UCLA, was the pitcher of the year in the Pac-10.
Aaron Miles.
And Aaron Miles, who is playing for the St. Louis Cardinals right now, at 4 hits on opening day.
Having himself a pretty good major league career. Imagine how good you'd be just to be able to get there.
Grounder slowly hit towards third. Alexander has to hurry. The throw in time. Great throw by Alexander to get Bryant and retire the side. We've played 3 innings at Antioch. The score, the Panthers 1, Freedom Falcons nothing. Come back to the Comcast game of the week after this.
Rocco Vialli, and I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party.
Great pizza, great pasta.
Great people. Rocco's, a part of your community.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
And there's a nice shot from field level here. Isaiah Bryant warming up. And so as we mentioned now, if Randy can pan a little to the right, if he can hear me. Now pan a little, there you go. See, here is the foul pole. There's the path. See the path right there, Tony? There used to not be a fence there. If you hit it over the path, it was a home run. The German labs right there, that was the target. I think I hit that once. And then, of course, you have, there's the portable classrooms. That used to be our basketball courts. We used to play basketball down here on Saturday afternoons before they opened the gym during the winter.
A lot more kids in the area, Dan. You got to have the portables.
It's a lot different than it used to be. But yeah, we hit some good memories down here. And well, thanks to Bill at Togo's in Concord for today's crew meal. Great, the hot pastrami, of course, is legendary at Togo's. Also, the Italian is one of my favorites. I prefer those spicier lunch meats.
The roast beef didn't bother me. Went down pretty smooth.
Roast beef is very, very good. You have to make the decision, do you like it hot or cold? Of course, pastrami, you got to have it hot.
Got to have it hot.
Yeah, something about it. Ed Ritagliata leads off, and the first pitch is fouled back. Bryant's still showing good velocity here in the fourth inning. Here's the totals in tonight's game so far. Antioch, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error, 7 runners left on base. That's an interesting stat as we move ahead. For Freedom, no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 runner left on base. Just the 1 runner has reached on the air. That was Brennan Alexander back in the second inning. Ritagliata, Perez, and James here in the fourth for Freedom. That's an off-speed pitch high. You have identified it, and I think that's the identifying factor. Bryant is a good mid-level type pitcher in this league. Until he develops a good off-speed pitch, though, as he moves up, guys are going to be able to hit that fastball.
Absolutely. You're not going to be able to get by. Even some of the good high school players, and you're not going to be able to work them with just fastballs.
But he has a heck of a fastball.
But he does have a good one. Like I think in the old days, remember Mario Soto?
Oh, absolutely.
Pitched a long, long time ago, and when he was in the minor leagues or playing some of the leagues before he got to the majors, he would tell people that he was throwing the fastball. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
they couldn't hit it anyway.
Couldn't hit it. Billy Wagner's kind of that way. And there is a line drive down the third base line, just foul, and that would have broken up the no-hitter here. As I mentioned, we don't want to say it too loud.
Too loud, yeah.
But
to wait a little bit on that. But I'll tell you though, Dan, this was a low fastball, good velocity again, and that missed being extra bases by about a half a foot. So that was probably the best shot that Antioch's put on a ball so far today. Unfortunately, Freedom, excuse me. But unfortunately for the Falcons, it's a foul ball.
1-2 to Ritagliata. Giants got their home opener in today. They were leading in the ninth. Hope to get a final on that one. Actually, we're down 2-0, and Noah Laurie was forced from the game early today. I haven't got the update on why that happened. And there's a swinging strike 3.
That's 5 strikeouts, I believe, now for Bryant, Dan. And then he went a little higher with the fastball that time. And as I said, when that ball moving with that velocity, when it's up in the strike zone, just lay off because you're not going to be able to hit it.
Good look at that fastball. Here's Perez, who grounded out to second to end the first. Now, there's an off-speed pitch, but as you mentioned, you can kind of see that it's telegraphed. A little bit more of a deliberate motion, a little sidearm to the delivery, and but that one got over for a strike. Fastball for strike 2. That one had to be up in about 85, 86 range.
Sure
right there.
looks like it. It's popping the glove like it's in that mid-80s for sure. And a high school kid can throw in that hard. There'll be somebody that'll want to teach him an off-speed pitch and take the time to make him more of a complete pitcher as he moves up.
Oh, nice off-speed pitch blocked by Lusty. The throw in time down to first base for out number 2. 6 strikeouts.
Now that one probably...
In 11 recorded outs.
Yeah, only one person has reached. And, you know, again, Dan, that was probably telegraphed a little bit as you saw the motion. You look at Jason Hernandez, Pacific Funding Group, 855-4550. But you just saw how he could still make the pitch effective It still looked good as it was getting up to the plate. Just the hitters can certainly get a good read on it when it leaves Bryant's hand.
Here's Dane James. He was part of that 3 strikeout second inning that Bryant put together. And there's a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1.
James not very happy with that pitch. Apparently he thought it was outside or low or both. But all he can do is just get back in the batter's box and try again.
That was a good pitch, a little low, 1-1. Actually, I think the first pitch, if it was anything, it was outside. It looked like it had the, at least had the knees, although James is a tall kid.
Those knees are pretty high up off the ground.
Yeah, they're up there.
A lot of ankle space.
Fouled, and that almost came up into the booth where I would have used Steve Sanchez as some sort of face protection here.
Just lets us know that we've got to pay attention.
That's right.
Because that ball could be,
you never know,
in our grill very quickly. Another 2-strike count. Been so many of them here for the Falcons. James will have to expand his strike zone here. Let's see if Bryant can't take advantage of that ahead in the count.
In the dirt, he committed, and Lusty will throw down to first base. And once again, 3 strikeouts in 3 batters. The second time Bryant has done it today. 7 strikeouts for Bryant. Still freedom.
Hi, I'm Rob from Central Tune-Up. Check this out. Oil filter crusher. Did you know that every drained used oil filter that comes off your car still contains up to a cup of used oil? That used oil can destroy our environment and water supply. Do the right thing and place your used oil filter in a clear Ziploc bag and place it on the curb with the rest of the recyclable items. If your city does not have curbside used oil recycling, take it to your nearest certified used oil and filter recycling center. Call ahead for hours and the amount accepted. What more, if all the oil filters that were sold yearly in the United States were recycled, you would have enough steel to build 16 pro sports stadiums. Be good to the earth. Recycle your used oil and filters for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
Back at Antioch High School, I apologize, I said Liberty, I meant Freedom, of course, but very close, very good big rivals, of course. They have a big rivalry. As a matter of fact, I was told by somebody, as you see the crew at Togo's on Willow Pass Road in Concord, that Freedom and Liberty will be very competitive next year in the football as we look ahead to
We've seen Freedom make some improvements. How about the Concord Minutemen, Dan? The last couple of years, they picked it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to have them on against Los Lomas, I believe, next year in football. Either Los Lomas or one of those schools that we're looking at, Miramani. Leadoff hitter for Antioch is Roach Kamajas, the number 9 batter. He reached on an error in the second. His brother Bub is on deck, and then Bobby DiMaggio here for the Panthers in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Antioch.
Short sort of walked the tightrope 3 times so far. Let's see if he can get an easier inning here in the 4th. Another good breaking ball, Dan. He's kind of getting better as this game goes along. Is Chris Short. His curveball certainly has a lot more bite to it the last inning plus. And some of the hitters, Dan, looking absolutely fooled by that breaker.
And there's a foul ball. Nearly picked off Vern Martin in the third base coaching box.
Of course, Antioch already with 3 losses on the year, Dan, and talked about Deer Valley and Clayton Valley, how well those 2 teams are playing. Ball a little up and outside. And some of the other teams, Dan, really just trying to keep up with the 2 valleys up at the top of the Bay Valley Athletic League.
Looking up to the valley. Usually you look down into the valley.
Usually you do, but
sometimes,
in the standings right now, you're looking up.
Off-speed pitch foul, and that one, once again, nearly hit. I was just asking Steve, and I was right, Vern Martin's father was Kelly Martin, who was a legendary Little League coach here in Antioch. By the way, don't forget Codefiant, Design and Info Technology Services. They built our website. Give them a call.
Thanks to Jacob.
And there's a swinging strike 3.
And talk about the best fastball.
Just might have been, yeah.
That was his best fastball, certainly, of the afternoon. And really a defensive swing that time for the third strike. I mean, that is all arm with that swing right there, Dan. No body put into that one. And that's the one that you just hope you get a piece of and you get another chance. So how well that, with how well Bryant has pitched, he's sort of stolen all the thunder, but really Chris Short pitching a heck of a ball game here for the Falcons.
There's an off-speed pitch for a strike to Bub Kamages. Back to Coach Martin. Kelly Martin coached the Rockets. I remember we played against him a couple times in cross-section games. He was in the East, we were in the West. And, of course, one of the Little League fields was named after his dad. He was a legendary coach here in Antioch.
Dan, is there anybody in this area that you don't know or went to school with?
I try to have been involved with just about everyone. Me or Sanchez probably know them all. There's been some sort of contact with just about anyone. Sometimes illegal. Oh, that ball's driven out to left field, a line drive, but a nice catch out there by Rebello for out number 2.
Boy, another ball hit hard. There's been a couple of balls by Antioch really ripped hard. Of course, the double and that one here. But this one, sort of a slicer off the bat.
Just got his hands out in front, inside out swing, as Coach Whitman, who's not with us today, would say. That's why Tony's up here in the booth.
And Lobello really just a couple of trots in to make that catch. Good positioning in the outfield that time.
Absolutely. Here's DiMaggio. DiMaggio 0 for 1 with a fly to center field back in the second inning. And that ball's in the dirt. Someone here is screaming like the Osmond brothers just showed up.
Yeah, and every time he does, we can distinctly hear it above everything else, all the other little chatter that you hear going on. But that one yell certainly standing out here.
You would think Shakira was in the stands.
Yeah, I don't think anybody even noticed that the Osmond showed up these days.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had to rephrase it. Maybe some of the moms would remember. Yeah. Yeah, in Antioch it would have to be the Allman Brothers, not the Osmond Brothers, for anyone to know. By the way, over across the street on June 2nd, Mickey Thomas and the Starship at the fair. I want to give them a little plug while we're here.
The
That ball's outside. And just to show you that there's always a connection. The Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation is never far from us. Our good friend, Antioch resident Brett Bloomfield, used to play in the Starship with Mickey. So that's how there's always a tie-in with us.
Well, I know you would know this. Any of the Starship now, any of those people part of the old Jefferson Airplane?
Well, here's what you have to remember. I'll tell you this. We will remind you about the Antioch Police Department, now hiring, 7797022. The Jefferson Starship still tours with Paul Kantner, Marty Ballin, and someone looking and singing a lot like Grace Slick. They're called the Jefferson Starship. There's a strike to DiMaggio. The Starship is the name that Mickey can use to play the songs that he recorded with that band. And no, none of the members are former members of either the Airplane or the Starship.
Of course, the Airplane, that goes back to what the
60s.
Late 60s.
They broke up in
Psychedelic era,
72, and the Starship began in 73. And there's a ball 4 outside for the walk. A lot of people always wondered why Kantner didn't name him the Rocket Ship in the 90s. Here's Jason Sanchez, 0 for 1 with a grounder to short. 2 down here in the 4th. Antioch ahead 1-0. Good look at Jason in the box. We do know where he gets his looks, all from Natalie, right, Steve?
Doesn't look like Steve at all, actually. But Steve taught him everything he knows. That's why he's playing so well here.
That's the rumor. There he is. There's mug
Steve
number
Sanchez.
1, and now let's look at mug number 2.
There's the proud papa.
And there's Jason. DiMaggio leads from first. Throw over there, not in time.
Looks like DiMaggio's getting a little bit better read over there than the last time he was on base. And you figure before too long he'd try to swipe second.
Oh, they had him leaning, but they call him safe. I think he got under the tag.
I think he did too, Dan, but he definitely was going towards second base that time as Short turned and threw over to first.
And the Freedom coaching staff all wanted that. I think the throw just didn't have the velocity on it that allowed DiMaggio the time to get back under the tag. The pitch is high.
And the one thing you worry about in a situation like this is that a pitcher is not going to give his full attention to the batter, and that sometimes results in a pitch going where a pitcher doesn't intend it to go, and that usually means down over the heart of the plate in the hit me zone.
Runner goes, ground ball towards right, into right field for a base hit. DiMaggio on his way to third. Here's the throw. It's there, but he's underneath the tag. Sanchez to second. The throw is there, and he is out at second base. Good play that time by Alexander, first digging this throw, even though he didn't get the tag, and then Sanchez caught going to second for out number 3. We've completed 4 innings in Antioch. It's 1-0 Panthers. Comcast Game of the Week. We'll be right back here.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader, the person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Since 1980, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated has been keeping Contra Costa cool and comfortable. With an expert crew of technicians and staff, let Fresky be your indoor comfort professionals. Our Lennox Signature home comfort systems are designed to deliver efficient and economical air and heat for your individual needs. Air conditioning to heating, duct cleaning to emergency service calls. Fresky has you covered. From the homeowner to the commercial world, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated. Reliable and trusted service since 1980.
There's the scoreboard here at Antioch High School. 1-0 Antioch. Bryant working on a no-hitter. We can say it a little louder now. It's the 5th. Yeah. And also one batter over the minimum. Now, this is an interesting look here. That's exactly where I used to stand when Alex Sanchez and Jeff Pico pitched here. I used to come watch them pitch and stand right there in the stands. Those are the visiting stands. It's a great view of the baseball field from up there. Don't forget to purchase your copy of this game. UPS shipping included, $25. Call 933-6264. Ask for Metal Matt or send us an email at gotw@comcast.net.
So a very strange way to end that last half inning for Antioch. Looked like, Dan, they were going to have a first and third situation with 2 outs. Sanchez tried to go to second when that ball went to third. And as Steve Sanchez pointed out earlier, we saw catchers of defensive indifference already in that same situation. If Sanchez had just stayed at first, on the very next pitch, he probably could have got second base for free.
And Southpaw up, who had a line drive double in his last at bat. Bryant working here in the 5th to Rebello, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. There's Coach Gary Alexander, his 3rd year at Freedom after a career here at Antioch, where he had a couple of playoff teams. Coached some of the guys I play softball with currently, Justin Torsha, Brian Dean. There's a ground ball into left field. Oh, nice play by the shortstop, but that's going to be a hit, and the first hit of the ball game for Freedom.
What a tough way to lose a no-hitter if you're Bryant on an infield hit, but that one perfectly placed. It slapped pretty well.
Well, they have yet to hit the ball to the outfield. That didn't get there either. They have yet to hit the ball into the outfield today.
Yeah, with all the strikeouts, all the caught lookings. Been a very dominant performance here for Bryant, but right now Freedom with the leadoff hitter aboard here. First time they've done that. Maybe they can rally here and tie up this ball game.
And that ball's driven foul down the first base side, just foul, and down into the quagmire known as right field. If you were down there, look at that big old mud puddle right there. Ugh.
Now you have to clean out the spikes after that.
Yep, it's Bub Kamajas down there making the trek into the mud.
So Freedom, Dan, 1 hit, also reached on the error, and they've hit a couple of hard foul balls, including that last one, and that's really been it here.
Well, Antioch hasn't been
4+.
able to capitalize and has made a couple of base running mistakes. They had left 8 runners on base through 4 innings. Freedom has just left 1 runner on base, and they've only had 2 base runners in the ballgame. Rebello, who had the first hit of the game, is on first, takes the lead, throw.
Out.
Oh, just on top.
Boy, very close. And Bryant is showing a wonderful move, Dan, to first base.
Here's a look at it.
And take another look. Also, not only is it a good quick move, but an accurate throw, and that's very close. Maybe the hand did get in there just under that tag, but very close to a pickoff.
Another throw, and that time it's a little bit clearer that he's safe.
And I'll tell you, if you're the base runners now, I'd say you just take a half step less on that lead. Stay a little bit closer to that bag.
Bryant has a pretty good move over to first. Brandon Alexander is the batter for Freedom. Oh, and that time he caught him. Bryant picked him off. In a rundown, here's Martinez, and Martinez is going to catch him and tag him out, and that was 3 straight times. We had a game like that last year, Clay and I called, where 4 runners were picked off for one team, and it was like, just stand on the base.
Yeah. No leading off. It's like Little League now. But Bryant, we talked about how good that move is, Dan, and this one completely fools the runner. And then just one throw here in that rundown. Very nicely executed by Antioch. You certainly don't want to get too many throws in that situation. They had just the one, and that records the out. So still, just one batter over the minimum now for Isaiah Bryant.
That ball is low.
Well, he got a piece of the umpire that time.
Yep, 1-0. Paul Case behind the plate today. His partner, Stu Kessler, on the bases.
And you got to give credit to the umpires doing baseball, especially when you have a 2-man crew and there's so many different angles, so many different places that you kind of need to be in this game. And
something I did back in the day, umpire high school baseball. It's challenging, to say the least.
Very much so.
2-0 to Alexander. So
umpires and referees and everything, nobody ever actually likes them, Dan, but really, it's a lot tougher than it looks.
fastball for a strike. Now, he called that strike 2, so in there somewhere there was another strike. That's the problem with that. Like I said, no scoreboard, no ball and strike. The balls and strikes doesn't work here. Yes, it does. Steve Sanchez told me that the balls and strikes doesn't work. The strike doesn't work on the scoreboard, but the balls do. So there's a ground ball up the middle, base hit. Now that's the first ball that got through into the outfield, although it just rolled about 20 feet out there as Sanchez picks it up.
And once it hits that grass, it's just dying out there. So really, if you're the outfielders, you might want to even play another step in just because of that. And Bryant's actually given up a couple of hits here in this inning, but still a wonderful performance by him. And now we have timeout. Going to have a couple of changes here.
I think we're going to have a runner for Freedom. Number 33, it can't be Ryan Santos because Ryan Santos is the catcher, and he's also on deck. So they've changed the numbers on me again, 32, unless there's two number 33s, because I'm looking at Santos wearing number 33 in the on-deck circle right now. So it's 38, who's not on my roster.
Perfect.
There you go. So the phantom runner is at first base running for Alexander. Paramount Technology, located behind Tower Records in Concord.
Let's see how daring our runner at first is going to be after he's seen that good move. He's seen a runner picked off here in the inning. Potential tying runner aboard at first base for Freedom. Another fastball for a strike.
This is Gaska, who struck out his first time. So Alexander being run for by one of the Freedom Falcons. Could be any number of players.
Could be anybody. We're not really sure.
Try to find out for you here. Took something off that one for ball one. I believe it's ball one.
Could be. I think it's a ball and a strike.
I think it is. I'm telling you. There's only a couple of places. It's just like when you do a basketball game and they don't put the fouls up.
You're lost.
Yeah.
And another one, Dan.
And Bryant again attempts to pick off that pinch runner.
Now, Dan, I know how much Freedom wants to get a good lead because if a ball gets into the gap, they want to be able to tie this game or at least get to second, get into scoring position. But I think Bryant has shown them, as you take another look there, that he has a good move to first base, and those guys have got to be a little bit more careful. It's hard enough to get guys on base. You don't want to give outs once you get there.
Off speed outside, 2-1. Tight game here in Antioch today, 1-0. The Panthers. They scored back in the first. Bryant had a no-hitter until the first batter here in the fifth, and now has given up 2 hits, even though he picked off the first runner. There's a pinch runner at first for Freedom, and another throw, and that could be trouble because that is
He's going to go to third
swamp
here,
down there. Southall picks it up and gets it back in time, but that time a little bit of trouble, and now runner in scoring position for Freedom.
And I am very surprised the runner, Dan, didn't really try to get to third here with where that ball was and when it was picked up. He kind of slows up as he gets towards second base, as if third base was never really a consideration that time. Now, you may know the ground rules more than I do, but I think when the ball goes down over there, it's just a live ball.
It's live.
It's not a one base for overthrow situation, so that was a little bit
Fastball,
strange there.
Foul ball right into the, we're going to call it the quagmire, the swamp.
And you see how the ball bounced about 2 inches off the ground.
It just died. Yeah, there's something that a lot of you need to know. In this sport, there's not a lot of games we can do games at. We have to be able to get the scissor lift in here and be able to have a press box. And yeah, that shot makes the game right there. And we can't do that in some places because they don't have access or you can't get the scissor lift behind it. At Acalanes, they have a 150-foot fence behind home plate and you can't shoot over it. So that's why in baseball it's a little different. Here's a slow grounder. Bryant cuts it off. Throw to first. Nice play. Here's the throw by Southall. It's there in time. Double play. What a defensive play that time by Antioch. Perfectly executed as Pantel makes the tag on the pinch runner, and Isaiah Bryant works out of it again. And right now, he's only one batter over the minimum. Amazing. As we head to the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 Panthers.
California, Mazet Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC has a huge selection of new and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Mazet invites you to experience our superior service and selection. Our new state-of-the-art facility and team of experts will make your car buying experience the best of the Bay Area.
Hi, I'm Matt Mazet. Whether it's a Cadillac Escalade or a GMC truck, I'll guarantee you the right car at the right price. Come by and see us today.
Discover the difference at Mazet Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC in the Century Auto Plaza, Pittsburgh.
Welcome to Clayton Mind and Body Connections, located in charming downtown Clayton, California. Our massage therapists have combined experience of over 25 years. We offer a variety of body treatments to detoxify and soften the skin and to de-stress and deeply relax the whole person. Our esthetician offers a selection of facials that address various skin needs from deep cleansing to acne control. A touch of Napa in Clayton.
Here's some of the crowd here today at Antioch High School.
Enjoying a very fine ball game and a wonderful play to end that last half inning. And you saw Isaiah Bryant, Dan, come off the mound as we look at the 19th hole Casino and Lounge, 2746 West Trigales Road in Antioch behind the post office. But Bryant actually had to come off the mound. You had to take a look where Pantel and Martinez, the third baseman and shortstop respectively, were. He really had to come off and make that play or it was going to be an infield hit. And then, of course, Dan, it turns into your typical 1-3-5 double play.
Yes. Actually, the put out on that one was 1-3 for the first out and then 3-5 for the second out. Very good. One of the cameramen out here on the... That's Randy's first game on the camera for us.
For Randy's Carpet Care.
That's right.
Here's Randy. Manning that first base camera over there.
Doing a great job. Bottom of the fifth, Southall, Pantel, and Lusty for the Panthers. Against Chris Short. He's throwing a nice game. He's only given up 4 hits and 1 run. Off speed, popped up, shallow left field. And the catch made out there by Rebello, who had the first hit of the ball game for Freedom back in the top of the inning. 1 down. Celia's Mexican Restaurant for great Mexican food, locations in Antioch and Lafayette.
I've been very impressed with the way Short has pitched, particularly in the first 3 innings. Take another look here. Clearly an easier play for the left fielder. And a nice job by Rebello to call off the shortstop and make the play.
Here's Alex Pantel, 0 for 1 with a sacrifice and a curveball for a strike. Greg Palmieri is in the Freedom bullpen warming up. Big right-hander. And there's a good shot of the batter Pantel and Lusty, who's on deck, and then Mo Martinez right behind him. There's the next 5, 6, 7 for Antioch. Off speed outside, 1-1. Funny thing, I've been kind of watching the softball game too. You just see the activity. You see uniforms in and out, white, gray. It seems like after every pitch of this game, the inning ends over there. They're in the bottom of the 14th down there. Ground ball, slowly hit third base. Alexander on a hop, throws on the run. Nice play. 2 down.
Sort of a check swing, an excuse me swing, if you will. And Alexander really had to come in that ball. If he waits just a little bit, it's going to be an infield hit. Take another look, charging all the way. Ball hopped up nicely for him, and then on to first for the out.
And although it was never done quite that eloquently, that is where I played when I played on this field at third base. Probably was never done at all, but attempted maybe a couple of times. But there's always was the sun factor, as you see Jason Hernandez and Danville, the Pacific Funding Group. The sun sets right in the third baseman's eyes. And I remember one year we played Pittsburgh here twice, and in both games we beat them 1-0. They had a pitcher named Bobby Sisk. This guy was a great pitcher. And I remember at the end of one game, they had 2 runners on in the 6th inning, I believe it was, as the sun's going down. And Kenny Bellacci, who's a guy I played like in Pittsburgh with when I was a kid growing up, who is now at Pittsburgh High and I was at Antioch, hit a line drive right at my head. If I hadn't seen it one more second, it would have hit me right in the face. I made the catch, and then they didn't score in the 7th. We won the game.
That's a scary situation because so many times a third baseman, you're asked to creep in, protect against that bunt or what have you. And then if you can't see just for a second, that ball could be right on top of you very quickly.
And the truck guys think I did get hit in the face with the ball, so that's the problem there.
But it's hard to say though, Dan, because your memory is just exemplary.
I can remember, like, if you said, do you remember playing Concord? I could tell you who pitched for Concord and what I batted that day. It's really
but
weird.
Not only that, I mean, you can remember the starting lineup of the '79 Montreal Expos. That's tough.
I know, a few guys. There's a fastball for a strike.
And we see that when Short works those other pitches, Dan, he can use that fastball very effectively because you're looking breaking ball, and then all of a sudden, even though it's not that fast, it sure looks a lot faster after you've seen a couple of those benders.
Outside, I believe it's 3-1 to Lusty, who's 0 for 1 in today's game.
We'll call it 3-1.
Yeah, like I said, the ball works, but the strikes doesn't work.
There's Steve Sanchez.
And there's Steve kind of slithering back into the dugout. There's a ground ball to short. Retagliata. Throw is high. Tag is made, and a nice put out there by James at first to retire the side. So Antioch goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th. Panthers lead 1-0.
I'm Rocco Vialli, and I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party.
Great pizza. Great pasta.
Great people. Rocco's is part of your community.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
And there is another section of the crowd here today. It's not like at Packville Park where you can throw section 103.
Well, chicks dig the long ball.
That's true. They do.
A lot of the girls out here tonight looking on.
And here's Togo's at Willow Pass Road. Yep. Matt just said something about if you
eat a family sandwich in 30 minutes,
I get it.
and it's free.
If you eat a family sandwich. Steve Sanchez just perked up. He's on his way over there. He's running out of the box right now. Eat a family sandwich in 30 minutes. It's free. Well, you know what? We could get me, you, and Ferris and say we're into our family. That thing would be gone in about 20 minutes.
No. I'm no stranger to the buffet line myself.
Yeah.
I think I can handle something like that.
And none of us are going to be in the Sports Illustrated men's bikini issue. Here's Ryan Santos to lead off in the 6th inning for Freedom. 0 for 1, called out on strikes back in the 3rd inning. Santos only has been at the plate once in this game. That's how well Bryant is pitching. 2 hits through 5 innings.
Falcons, Dan, having a lot of trouble getting on base, and then when they are on base, they're having a whole lot of trouble staying on base. A couple of guys thrown out on the base pass tonight.
Ball 1.
I do got to say that last half inning, the way James came off the bag, made that catch of the high throw, and then reached down and made the tag. Very nice play to end that last half frame by Dane James. Good pitching and good defense here so far today.
Fouled back.
And there's one of those fastballs, Dan, that you just can't quite catch up to. Up in the zone, and lucky to get a piece of it that time.
Kevin Davis is on deck, and then the top of the order, Chad Combs for the Falcons here in the 6th. Need to get something going, trailing 1-0. Bryant throwing a great game, 7 strikeouts and just 2 hits given up here through 5. Fouled back.
And at least trying to catch up to that high fastball a little bit. Not able to straighten it out here, but at least getting a piece of it. Now looking down at the third base coach, getting instruction. And yet another 2-strike count for a Falcon hitter.
There's a good fastball by Bryant, fouled back. He's keeping that fastball up, and they just can't get around on it, Tony.
Just able to foul it back a little bit. We'll take a look here.
Good shot from behind the plate there.
Santos at least able to get a piece of that, but we'll see if Bryant doesn't go a little further out of the strike zone this time and make Santos chase one.
Here's a shot from the scissor lift here with a couple of strikes on Santos. Curveball. And like you say, it's very easy to see. I don't know if you can see it from the plate, but from our angle up here, you can see when Bryant is going to throw a curve.
He's barely into his leg kick, and you know it's not going to be a fastball. Not that I could go down there and get a hit.
And there's a swinging strike 3. 7th strikeout for Bryant. And Kevin Davis, who popped up to DiMaggio back in the 3rd, will be the hitter. Hertz Equipment Rental and Pacheco, don't forget them. Thanks for the scissor lift today, guys. Here's a great shot. Pat and Dan over there at Hertz Equipment Rental couldn't do it without you guys, specifically baseball. It'd be very, very difficult to do.
Gotta have the scissor lift.
Basketball is a little different.
Don't really need it there.
Football, we really enjoy those end zones.
It'd be a hard time to get the scissor lift in the gym.
It would be hard in some gyms.
Well, Freedom, as much, Dan, as they've been manhandled here offensively, is still right in this ball game, trailing only 1-0.
There's a curveball for a strike.
One of the best breaking pitches from Bryant today.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb. This is very interesting, but I'll tell you after this pitch, Tony. That ball's down. But I saw the Antioch girls run off the field, and the game's over. So unless someone hit a home run, Antioch won that game. Unless something really weird happened down there. And if that's the case, that would mean that they beat the number 3 team in the state of California. We need to get a runner down there to find out what happened. That'd be very interesting.
Well, you know, we need a field reporter. Like in football, we always have the sideline reporter.
I agree. What you could have had today is like a guy standing out in right field, right behind the fence, doing both games. Like bringing teachers in and stuff like that.
Perfect vantage point.
Yeah, that would have been great. Fastball is up and away. By the way, Dan Easterly and John Hammers helped Eddie Bodine get the field ready today. We talked about that in the open. I want to thank them for their efforts.
That must have been a lot of work to try to get all that water off the field and make the field playable for this afternoon.
We just ran by the Antioch bench there.
And I'm sure the players are very happy with all their efforts, because they're probably tired of getting rained out.
Ball 4. Davis sold that very well. And he is on at first base with the walk. 1 out here in the 6th. And top of the order, Chad Combs will be the batter. 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to third and grounded out to the pitcher.
First base on balls issued today by Isaiah Bryant. His line is still looking very good in the most important category. Perfect so far, yet no runs allowed to this point.
Gotta wonder if, with Bryant's move, if you want to risk the lead over there, or maybe you might try to bunt here, but that would give up an out. Here's a little pop-up out into right field. That's going to be a base hit. And with Davis, down to second, he's held there. As you could see, Kamajas broke late on that ball, and then when it, like you said, when it dies, it dies.
It dies, but that time Davis not getting any help from the base coaches, because this ball looked, as soon as it left the bat, like it was going to fall in between, but
everyone fell there.
Davis fell out over that coming over second base.
So Davis is down at second now. Combs with the hit, his first of the game, and the third for the Falcons, is now on at first. Runners at first and second, 1 out, and Ed Ritagliata Jr. will be the hitter. And Coach Martin is out to talk to Bryant, who has so far pitched a whale of a game through 5 1/3 innings.
And I can look down in the bullpen here, Dan. It looks like they're getting some activity down in that Panther bullpen. And Vern might be doing something here just to take a little time to see if he can't get his reliever ready. Obviously, they're not going to take Bryant out of the game just yet. He's been pitching very, very well, of course, and doesn't seem like you'd want to take him out of the ball game, but Vern going to make sure that he's got somebody else ready just in case.
Sam Childers, yeah, Sam Childers is in the Childers, Sam Childers. I always love that, Childers.
Doing pretty well.
It should be Childers.
Sam?
Did you know that? Because it's child and then ers, but it's chill and then,
Okay.
which would mean there should be 2 L's,
But
right?
if you want to change it, Dan, let's go ahead and change it.
Childers, and a pickoff. And a balk again on Bryant.
Second one of the game
Wow.
against Bryant. And this one he gives up 2 bases, Dan.
So Bryant balks and does exactly what Gary Alexander wanted, was to move these runners into scoring position, but he didn't have to give up an out. So now he has his 2, 3, and 4 with 1 out, needing a couple of runs to go ahead here in the 6th inning.
But right now in this situation, Dan, the pitcher's best friend is a strikeout, and we know Bryant can get one of those.
8 of the 13 outs recorded have been strikeouts. Now with the infield in, the lead at second base by Combs is huge.
No way he wouldn't score on a base hit here. Anything gets beyond that infield cutout there would likely score that runner from second and give the Falcons the lead.
There's a curveball for a strike to Ritagliata. 0 for 2, struck out in the 4th and grounded out to the pitcher back in the 1st inning.
And if you're Ritagliata, you got to be very surprised. Very rarely today has Bryant started anybody out with something other than a fastball, and that time Ritagliata got the breaking pitch on his first pitch with this at bat.
Strike 2.
Missed
High
that
fastball.
one by 2 feet, Dan.
Yes, exactly.
Now again, another Falcon hitter, Dan, in a 2-strike count in a situation where he's going to have to expand the strike zone here. And I don't think Bryant's going to mess around with him at all. He's going to go right for the strikeout. Pass ball or a wild pitch would tie the ball game.
Fastball fouled back. Tony Perez is on deck for freedom here. 6th inning, 1-0 Antioch.
Perez on deck, bench in the hole.
And Griffey right around the corner. And that would mean what Morgan and Rose are on right now, right? Big Red Machine. Yeah, Foster's around there somewhere,
God,
too.
listen to all those great players. What a team.
Here's a pitch, off speed, nice block by Lusty, 1-2.
Great block by Lusty. That one looked like it was headed between the wickets and to the backstop, and he was able to close it off and keep it in front of him. At least saves the lead, at least for the moment.
Fastball, strike 3. Bryant strikes out Retagliata. 2 down. And Tony Perez, who's 0 for 2, will be the hitter and struck out his last at bat.
And a huge strikeout there, Dan. Now the infielders can move back. Gives them so much more fielding room.
9th strikeout for Bryant. Perez 0 for 2. Fastball for a strike.
And Bryant now here, Dan, even with no runner at first base, still pitching from the stretch here. Or at least on that first pitch. Let's see if he goes back to the windup. No, he's going to stay with the stretch. A lot of pitchers tend to lose a little velocity when they pitch from the stretch, but
off speed.
Bryant
Lusty dug it.
Didn't appear to lose any velocity on that first fastball.
Dane James is on deck. 1-0 Antioch here. Very tight ball game. Top of the 6th inning. 2 on, 2 out. 1-1 count to Perez. Ground ball towards second. High hop. DiMaggio in front of it. Throw to first. In time, and Antioch gets out of it. Bryant pitches his way out of his first jam here, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Panthers leading 1-0.
Great Mexican food, home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food. Is your laptop or home computer driving you crazy? Paramount Technology of Concord has the answers. Located behind Tower Records in Concord, Paramount Technology has it all. Quick in-house laptop repair and servicing, mobile computer service calls, and great customer service for those wishing to have a computer made to your specifications. Your computer wizards with expert service and products for today's computer world. That's Paramount Technology of Concord at 1252 Diamond Boulevard in Concord, the computer wizards of Contra Costa.
Back at Antioch High School, bottom of the 6th. Modesto Martinez, Isaiah Bryant, and Roach Camages here against Chris Short. Both pitchers pitching great games here today. 1-0 Antioch. Isaiah Bryant working on a 3-hitter and Short working on a 4-hitter.
And with the exception of a couple of errors, Dan, we've seen some good defense as well.
Oh, nice bump by Martinez. That's going to die.
Just eat it.
And Santos' throw is not in time. A leadoff bunt single for Modesto Martinez here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And the grass here in the infield, Dan, pretty thick. You can see that ball bounce and really not do anything with it, but really deadened very nicely by Martinez. That's just a wonderful bunt. Really no chance of the play there. And it's a leadoff base hit for Antioch. And of course, boy, they would love to get a couple of more runs here, because even though that Bryant has dominated the Falcons so much, the Falcons are still just 1 run behind here, getting very late in the ball game.
Alexander playing very shallow at third, anticipating a bunt by Bryant. Short faked out of the windup there and then realized he had a runner over at first base in Martinez. You'd have to think Bryant is bunting here in this situation, and his objective is to push it towards first. Curveball is a strike. With James holding the runner on over there, you'd want to push it down the third base side, get that runner over. You also don't want your pitcher out there longer than he has to be with the 7th inning coming up.
Especially with just 3 outs left between Antioch and victory, but there's Bryant showing bunt early. Let's see if he can put one down here and pick up a base here for the Panthers.
Oh, nice bunt towards the pitcher. Short goes to first. In time, Martinez down to second.
Martinez took the wide turn there. But Kevin Davis, the center fielder, very heads-up play coming in from center field to cover second base. Just in case Martinez got a little too cute there and got a little too far off the bag, but There you see the sacrifice laid down perfectly. The out recorded 1-3. And now a chance to pick up run number 2 here for the Panthers.
Roach Kamajas, the batter, 0 for 2. Struck out his last at bat in the 4th. Looking for the base hit here that would give Antioch a little bit of insurance. They lead 1-0, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. And he shows bunt here to start the at bat. Martinez runs. Santos' throw not in time. Santos kind of double clutched and lost the ball in his glove there, and Martinez easily stole third. So now Antioch with a runner in great scoring position here with 1 out.
Get that runner to third base here. And really, Martinez not being held on, Dan, and he just got a wonderful jump. And he beats that throw easily.
Infield in from the windup short, and that pitch is outside.
Outfield shallow, between shallow and medium depths. Looks to be very shallow there in right field. And then with the infield in, still a lot of room between the outfielders and the infielders.
And now Short is going to pitch out of the stretch, try to limit that lead. And now he backs off of that idea. Talk about indecision or indifference.
Very important insurance run out there at third base. Let's see if the Panthers can't pick it up.
Oh, nice off-speed pitch for a strike.
But I'll tell you, leaving the hand in, you're not sure if it's a fastball or a breaking ball. That was a wonderful breaking pitch that time. Now, if you combine Bryant's fastball and Short's breaking pitch,
oh man,
I think you'd have a Division I player on your hand.
You probably, it's a good point, Tony.
Short being very deliberate here, and rightfully so. Don't want to give up that second run. It's been tough enough to get one here for Freedom. Let's see if Short can't pitch out of trouble here again. That one over the outside corner for a strike, Dan. And Short seemed like he's pitched his best when runners have been on base. Particularly those first 3 innings when he sort of got in trouble in each of the first 3 frames, able to pitch out of it. Trying to do likewise here, Daniel, in the 6th.
Runner third, 1 out. Off speed for strike 3. Great pitch for the second out. It's the second time today Kamajas has struck out. Let's take a look at it, Tony.
And that is a big curveball again, Dan.
And here's Bub Kamajas, 1 for 3. And, you know, incidentally, I haven't mentioned this in this game. Justin Kamajas, their older brother, used to play shortstop for Freedom.
Did he?
And then the kids started to come back to Antioch. I think Bubba was a freshman when he was a senior. So that was about 3 or 4 years ago. Freedom had a great team back then. Warren Spahn, there's a great name for you, Greg Spahn's son. And that hits Kamajas.
A lot of good baseball names here today.
Yes.
Perez, DiMaggio, Spahn.
Yeah, Warren Spahn. That was Greg Spahn. Went to school with Steve. Great football player at Antioch, and his son was a left-handed pitcher. His name, and he named him Warren. That's a nice shot from the scissor lift. Right into the beefy part of the right arm.
And that's what I call taking one for the team.
Yes.
And if you're going to take one, the slow curveball is probably the one to take.
Kamajas on at first. Martinez at third. 2 down, bottom of the 6th. And DiMaggio, who's walked twice, is 0 for 1. Will be the batter. Jason Sanchez on deck for Antioch.
You know, DiMaggio trying to give the Panthers here, Dan, some breathing room.
We've had 2 excellent baseball games for you so far. The first one was 11-10, and this one's 1-0. So 20 runs difference, but still both exciting ball games.
That's the great thing about baseball.
Up, the runner goes. Curve is a ball, and so once again the old catcher indifference comes into play.
And not going to give you a stolen base when they're not trying to throw you out.
So now Antioch with runners at second and third. A base hit would score 2. Kamajas with good speed out there. Martinez as well. Antioch looking for a little insurance here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Let's see how Short works here with a base open.
Outside, 2-0. I don't think you want to put DiMaggio on to face Sanchez, who is one of Antioch's better hitters.
Sometimes I think you'd like to keep it in the hitter's mind, though, that he may not see a strike, just to keep him guessing that much more. But I agree with you. I certainly just would not like to load the bases for anybody, but particularly in this lineup.
Short steps off the mound. Really like to know what happened down there on that softball field. It's always interesting when you watch a game. It's almost like watching it with the sound off.
Your favorite rock music on, the sound turned off.
Oh, and that ball gets past the – here comes Martinez, and he scores, and Antioch gets the insurance run. They lead 2-0, and that's how both of their runs have scored tonight.
And that ball very wild that time, and Short obviously trying to play around with the strike zone, having that base open, Dan, but that's the risk you run. You get a little too cute with that one. Sometimes it gets to the backstop and they give up the run.
Think about Billy Ball, small ball. We just saw it at its best. Martinez led off with a bunt.
Sacrifice over.
Sacrificed to second, stole third, scored on a pass ball. That is Billy Ball at its best.
Who needs hits?
And here's a bunt attempt by DiMaggio. But he throws out DiMaggio at first base for the final out. Antioch gets one with 2 hits, and we go to the 7th. Antioch 2, Freedom nothing.
Good try, good try.
I got one. Quick, reel it in. Hey, look, it's already marinated.
No, it's dead, and it's covered with oil and grime. And you don't marinate fish.
It's dead, but why?
Because of that guy. He's dumping his used oil and filter on the ground next to the Delta.
Look, here comes Mr. Funnelhead to save the Delta.
No, the world.
Hey, stop that! Don't you know that by dumping your used oil and filters into the Delta, you're destroying our water supply? Too many gallons of used oil and sewage have already contaminated our waters. And even though the average used oil filter looks empty, it still contains up to a cup of used motor oil. Take your used oil and filters to a certified used oil recycling center where they can properly recycle the oil and filter for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
And once again, some of the crowd gathered here today at Antioch High School. 2-0 Antioch, top of the 7th. By the way, we saw Aaron Miles' retired number here on the dugout. That's Steve's grandson. Godson, not grandson. Godson. Herbie Miles is his dad, a legendary figure here in Antioch. And he's 8 for 13 to start the season.
As if the Cardinals needed another hitter.
Oh, yeah. Well, we always said he could hit, you know, and but it's almost like when he went to the Rockies, he was almost relied upon to be. It's really sad that they got rid of him because now the Colorado's actually developed some nice players, complementary players to go with him, but it's almost like they wanted him to be their best hitter, and he's probably a lot better at St. Louis where he's a complementary hitter batting 8th, where he, you know, after Pujols has hit one into the Missouri River.
Nothing wrong with the Colorado Rockies. Someday they're probably going to develop some pitching, Dan. But if I'm Aaron Miles, I think I'd rather play with the Cardinals, have a chance to win the World
plus
Series.
You get to play in St. Louis in a brand new stadium, and
probably, Dan, a club with a little more tradition than I'd say the Colorado
absolutely.
Rockies. But
well, the Rockies, though, have some good young players. Garrett Atkins, the third baseman, is a very, very good player. The Barmas, the shortstop, who's back after an injury last year. It's a good
pitching
player.
always seems to be a big question for him, Dan, and even when they go out and sign free agent pitchers, they don't seem to do all that well.
Dane James, the leadoff hitter, high hop to DiMaggio, out number 1. So Brian is 2 outs away from pitching a shutout with just 3 hits given up today. And as we mentioned, they've only hit the ball out of the infield once. And that was just a dribbler by the shortstop.
And I believe, Dan, they've only had, 3 people actually reach, right? They had, 3 hits.
4. 3 hits
2
in
of them
the air.
were erased.
2 were erased. So they've only had 3 runners left on base. That's it. They had 2 runners left on last inning. Here's Rebello, who had the first hit of the ball game. Purchase your copy of this game, UPS shipping included, $25. Call 933-6264. Ask for Metal Matt or email us at gotw@comcast.net. And there is another hit for Rebello, a line drive into left field in front of Kamajas. And
Bobbled out there in
Rebello is
left
going to
field.
second, and here's the throw, not in time. So a hit and an error puts Rebello in scoring position here with one out in the 7th, and Brandon Alexander will be the hitter.
Boy, Pantel looked like he had this played.
That's Kamages.
Probably Kamages. Looked like he had this played, Dan, and then just maybe took a little funny hop. And Rebello saw him bobble that ball out there, and nice heads-up play takes second. And now again, Dan, a situation again where a base hit, well, actually wouldn't tie the game now as the Antioch scored a second run in that inning, but still at least that first run out there.
Alexander in the ball game, 1 for 2, but he's been on base both times. Off-speed pitch high, 1-0. Alexander actually was the first runner. He reached on DiMaggio's error back in the 2nd inning, and then he had a hit, but he was erased in that double play in the 5th.
Now here he represents the tying run. Falcons trying to rally here.
2-0. Gasca is the on-deck hitter for Freedom.
Probably nothing more exciting than trailing the whole game, Dan, than coming in late in the ball game to take the lead and claim a victory.
Ball 3.
Boy, very close that time. And it seems almost that the strike zone has squeezed just a little bit here.
No activity in the Antioch bullpen, so Childers, excuse me, is either ready or they're going to stick with Bryant. And there's ball 4. And Alexander walks, and Vern Martin takes a trip to the mound. That is not the worst walk in the world for a number of reasons. Number one, Alexander's a pretty accomplished hitter and has hit the ball hard today and been on base. It also now gives you force options at bases. And you have a 2-run lead, and you have the hammer.
The bad thing, though, is it does put the tying run on base.
That would be the bad thing. So the good outweighs the bad just slightly in this situation, and we'll see what happens.
But a ground ball could end the ball game here. If Antioch could turn the double play. They made a double play today, but of course not the traditional style.
It's true. There's Coach Martin returning to the dugout. He's going to stick with Bryant here. Bryant has pitched six in the 3rd innings. 9 strikeouts. Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. Thanks once again for this beautiful shot from the scissor lift high above Salcino Field. First pitch to Gasca is a strike. Fastball in the outside corner. Here's a good look at Bryant, who has one of the more impressive hairstyles in the BVAL.
Kind of looks like, a little beat. It could whip around there a little bit. Must have been tough guarding him in basketball, having him turn and whip you in the face.
I don't think he had him in basketball, to tell you the truth. Oh, and he hits Gasca. He hits Gasca, and the bases are loaded.
You know, Dan, he went with a breaking pitch there, and I guess you can't stay exclusively with a fastball, but certainly that's been his best pitch. And now, Dan, the potential go-ahead run at first base, now the tying run in scoring position. So Antioch in a bit of a jam here.
Now, this is interesting. I was told Vince Turnus would not play today. He's sick, but he is coming up to bat. Vince Turnus, here's another connection for you. His mom. Now listen to this one. Mom Liz went to school with my wife, Selena, dated one of my best friends in high school, and lived right around the corner here in Antioch. And then she met Stephen Turnus from Pittsburgh, whose brother Ed played against us in high school, was a great second baseman from Pittsburgh High, and now this is their offspring, Vince. Now there's a story for you.
Now, Dan, I'm going to be so good at the game 6 Degrees of Dan Wall. I'm going to be fantastic.
You're going to win. So Turnus was listed as the starting catcher. Comes into the ball game here. He's a senior. And he will pinch hit with the bases loaded and 1 out against Isaiah Bryant. There's the bases out there loaded up. Gasca at first, Alexander at second, Rebello at third, and Turnus the hitter. Trying to look for our stats, Tony. Here they are. Find out what Turnus has done so far this year. .333 hitter with a couple of RBIs. So Turnus against Bryant with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th. Ground ball towards third is foul.
So just how big does that insurance run look in that last half inning now? 2-0 lead instead of a 1-0 lead. Let's see if Isaiah can't turn the Falcons back.
Pitch is up high, 1-1. We've had some great games here at Antioch. We had a Antioch Deer Valley game, one-run game. We had a great De La Salle Antioch game here a couple of years ago, and these games here at Antioch High School are usually exciting contests, and this one a lot of the same here today.
Not short on entertainment here this afternoon.
Fouled back, 1-2. Yeah, I guess the only disappointment here is that both runs in the game have been scored on pass balls. So if you're a big fan of pass balls, you're having a great time today. But if you like seeing the long ball, like you said, chicks dig the long ball, and watching it bob around in the bay and stuff like that hasn't been happening today. 1-2 to Turnus. Fastball outside, 2-2.
And a good stop there by Lusty, keeping that one from going to the backstop. And really, if I'm Isaiah Bryant, I'd probably stick with that fastball. It's certainly been his best pitch.
Oh, he blows him away with a fastball, strike three. That might be the last good fastball Isaiah Bryant has in him after that pitch, Tony.
I'll tell you, he's got a good one, Dan, but then he also has that ability to rear back just a little bit. When he wants to get a little extra on that fastball, he can do it. And not only can he do it, but he can actually get good location with the pitch as well.
Here's a last chance for Freedom. Down 2-0 in the seventh, 2 outs, bases loaded. Kevin Davis, 0 for 1. Pitch is a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. Combs, who had a hit his last time up, the sophomore, is on deck.
Now let's see, Dan. I'm thinking here, no more breaking balls here for Isaiah Bryant. Just fastballs to close out this game.
Well, this is the number 9 spot in the order for Freedom. That pitch is low. Davis is a senior. And there's Isaiah Bryant, who's pitched a beautiful game today. Both these pitchers had great games today. I would have to think at this point right now, that's a good call, as Isaiah Bryant might be the player of the game. Definitely the pitcher of the game so far. There's a ground ball to short. Martinez has to throw to first. He throws it in the dirt, and it's tied. Unbelievable. Here's another runner. They're going to hold him. Gary Alexander made a great play. It was all there for Antioch. A complete game, a shutout. Martinez, because the runner was moving, had to go to first. He threw the ball in the dirt by Southall. 2 runs scored on the air, and it's 2-2.
I'll tell you, Davis looks like a very routine ground ball to short. But Davis gets out of that box very quickly, Dan, and maybe sort of forced a bad throw, because you look up and the guy's that far down the line, all of a sudden the play doesn't seem as routine. And that forced the bad throw. So Davis, just a roller to shortstop, but still good hustle to make that play a lot tougher than it normally would have been.
And now Matt's starting to count tape. 2-2. Top of the 7th. Combs the batter. Here's the pitch, a fastball inside. That was a tough play, too, because if you look on the replay, the runner was right next to second when Martinez came up. He kind of hitched when he looked to first. He threw it in the dirt. Southall couldn't dig it out. And as you said, maybe he would have been safe, but it would only have been 1 run. Getting by him, and now the game is tied. And you know what's amazing, too, with all this? There's been no RBIs in this game. There's an error that caused 2 runs to score and 2 pass balls. No RBIs in this game so far. Amazing. 2-2. That pitch is off speed and outside 2-0.
And really a tough break for Bryant, because you get into a jam, only the second jam of the afternoon, Dan, and then you get the one to get out of it. Well, here's Davis hitting the ball to shortstop. Take another look. And you really think the ball game's over, you're out of it, you've got yourself a shutout. Instead, you get the error, and we continue.
3-0, and you'd have to think that if Bryant doesn't get this batter, he might be done.
Throwing a lot of pitches, but still nobody warming behind him. So the Falcons have battled back to tie it at 2.
Ball 4. Once again, though, not the worst walk in the world, as their first base was open, but now that'll do it for Isaiah Bryant here in the 7th inning. 2-2. It'll be no decision, and he'll be on the hook because the runner at third base is his responsibility. And it looks like Sam Childers will be the pitcher that comes in here for Antioch. Isaiah Bryant getting a nice hand. He pitched a great game. He deserved better, but due to the error, Isaiah Bryant leaves with the game tied 2-2. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the conclusion of this inning after this.
Get ready, Northern California. Mazay Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC has a huge selection of new and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Mazay invites you to experience our superior service and selection. Our new state-of-the-art facility and team of experts will make your car buying experience the best in the Bay Area.
Hi, I'm Matt Mazay. Whether it's a Cadillac Escalade or a GMC truck, I'll guarantee you the right car at the right price. Come by and see us today.
Discover the difference at Mazay Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC in the Century Auto Plaza, Pittsburgh.
You can play on the treadmill, or you can learn how to sweat for real. You can get your heart rate up, or you can experience full-on fitness. At Velocity Sports Performance, we don't believe in silly trends. We believe in serious results. We believe in free motion, natural resistance, and putting hardcore work into your workout. We hire certified exercise science coaches, and we amp up the competition factor with semi-private group training. Come in and find out what a real workout means.
Sam Childers is the new pitcher for Antioch. It looks like he has a pretty good fastball, just like Isaiah Bryant, who was just taken out of the ball game after Freedom tied it at 2.
14 2/3 innings pitched and an ERA of under 1.477. Just one earned run so far. 5 runs total, but only one of the earned variety, so he's pitched well.
Well, he can't afford any mistakes here. Bases are juiced with Freedom Falcons.
And another stat that goes overlooked a lot in baseball is what pitchers do with inherited runners. And Childress in that situation right here. Good news for him is he only needs to get one out to get out of the frame. The bad news is pass ball, wild pitch, anything could score that run.
Freedom has work in the bullpen going on. We'll have to try to get that number for you down there. We saw earlier Palmieri was warming up. Antioch will have the 3-4-5 coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning if they can get out of this jam. 2-2, top of the 7th, bases loaded, 2 outs. Childers in to pitch to Ed Retagliata Jr., a very tough out. Fouled, and that ball is going to make it onto the football field, I believe. It does.
Kevin Davis taking a huge lead off second base. Not holding him on. Getting a huge jump coming off second base. He wants to make sure that he'll score on a base hit.
Knuckleball in the dirt. That's a tough pitch to throw with the bases loaded and a tie ball game, but Lusty made a lusty attempt there. Did you like that, how I tied that in?
I didn't like that at all, actually. I can't even humor
a hearty attempt for Mr. Lusty on that one.
But a nice job to make the block and keep the game tied, at least for the moment.
Strike 2 on the outside corner. 1-2 to Retagliata with the bases loaded. Retagliata is 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts.
But he can make up for all that here with a base hit.
Fastball. Looked like he kind of wanted that one up and away. 2-2.
Well, you certainly don't want to go 3-2, so you would figure you'd get a good pitch to hit here. Don't want to go 3-2 and give those runners a jump.
Knuckleball. That thing dropped 5 feet, Tony. Strike 3, and Childers comes in like any good closer and gets Antioch out of a jam. 2 runs in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 2.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party.
Great pizza, great pasta,
great people. Rocco's is part of your community.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
Chris Short on to work the 7th, 2-2. Freedom got a couple of runs on that big air in the top of the 7th inning.
So the Antioch insurance run proves to be very important.
Here's Jason Sanchez to lead off the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Sanchez, Southall, and Pantel, the 3-4-5 for Antioch against Short. You'd have to think that Short is on a short.
Well, we are a short leash.
I was leaving it for you. I was setting you up. He's on a. There you go. Thank you. It's like match game. Ground ball to first. James will take it himself. Out number 1.
Nice play over there.
Here's Southall, who's probably hit the ball the hardest for Antioch today. He's 2 for 3. Good play by James over there.
Very nice play. Scampers to the bag. Ahead is Sanchez. Southall did rip a double earlier in the ball game.
Curveball for a strike. Kind of weird how Short struggled early and has been nails the last couple innings, and Bryant was nails early and struggled towards the end. It's kind of
a reversal there.
Yeah, and Antioch scored early and Freedom scored late. In the dirt, fouled back. 0-2. Pantel would follow for Antioch. Panthers need to manufacture a run here.
Now, you talked about how Antioch had those opportunities early, Dan, when they had so many runners left on base, and another hit, another error, something like that. They could have been 3-4 more runs ahead, but they could not get those extra runs across.
Outside, 1-2. So the Giants won today. That's good news, 6-4. I know you don't care because you're a Dodger fan.
Of course, you're watching this on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. They could have lost twice by the time you watch this game. Wow, that pitch missed somewhere.
I'm not sure exactly where, possibly outside, but if it did, it really curved around the outside part of the plate before it got into the catcher's mitt.
Kind of like the way Bugs Bunny's balls used to go like around the bat at the last second. 2-2 to Southall. Curveball, just barely got a piece of it to stay alive. There's the Freedom dugout. They're just as loud as the Antioch dugout. Of course, there's a little rivalry going on here because that's Antioch's old coach over there, even though it's not as, as bad as it was the year after he left when some of his old players were still here.
Of course, Freedom this last inning or so, a lot to cheer about.
Fouled back, stays 2-2. Yeah, baseball activity all over. I was in Stockton last night. The Ports open at home tonight, right? They play right next to where the Stockton Thunder play, the new arena. The Ports field is right there. They have their own little water shot there as you can hit it out into the river out behind.
Nice place to watch a game.
Beautiful, 5,000 seats. Ball 3. I think the Sacramento River Cats open on the road, and then they're home next week. So, and of course the Giants started today. The A's started on Monday. The A's are in Seattle, I believe, this weekend for their big series, and the Giants play the Braves all weekend. So a lot of baseball, a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah, no shortage of sports on
these days. It's crazy.
Of course, you had March Madness, the NBA still going on.
Hockey, arena football. It's all there for you, Tony.
English Premier League soccer.
Ground ball towards second. Perez over to James in time. 2 down.
The Falcons thought that was out number 3. They were ready to go run back in the dugout and take their hacks, but the umpire tells them, back out of the field, guys. You need to get one more.
Here's Alex Pantel. He's due 0 for 2 with 1 sacrifice bunt today. His 4th plate appearance. There's a replay of the. Yep, they're there. They thought it was over.
That's 3 outs. Let's go.
That ball's hit a long way to center field, and the center fielder fell. This could be trouble. Pantel on his way to second, but the way, the ball just died out there, and it helped Freedom. because if it had rolled all the way to the fence, Pantel would have had an easy triple.
Easy.
Yeah, so it's in the quagmire out there as it hurt him because he fell, and then it actually helped him because the ball just kind of stuck. But Pantel on with a double, and a pinch runner for Pantel is number 9, Randy Snap.
Randy Snap, the potential winning run here.
And you have to hope if you're Antioch that he can make it home in a Come on, Tony. Come on. It's too simple. I'm just setting you up like it's like John Stockton and Karl Malone here, okay?
I'm laughing at you, not with you on that one. But that's okay. I'll give you that one. But let's see if he can make it home snappy.
Yeah.
But Lusty a chance to be a hero now, Dan. A base hit could give Antioch the win.
Well, I said that Pantel was due. Lusty is due as well. Same stats, 0 for 2 in 3 official appearances with a sacrifice. Snap takes his lead. That ball's in the dirt. Blocked nicely by Santos.
Actually hit off of Lusty and sort of kept right in front of Santos. As that ball hopped out a little farther, Snap may have had a chance to get down to third base. He's kind of peeking around the umpire that time to see where that ball was.
And Freedom's outfield is fairly deep too with the wet grass. If he can just dribble something through, Snap may be able to score, and this one will be over. 2-2.
Yeah, it'd be a long run for the outfielders to come up and make a play.
Here's the pitch, and that's a slow hit grounder to the pitcher. Short, in time, and that'll do it. He gets out of trouble, and we go to the 8th inning. Extra innings today from Antioch, 2-2.
If you dump your oil, tempers boil, it ends up in the bay. Oh, smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Don't want your oil to choke us, you're in focus, your neighbors just might say. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Well, it's not fun to pay a big fine for polluting our water supply. No. It's not fun to talk to police as the neighbors walk on by. So now you're reeling, how's the wallet feeling? A big fine you're gonna pay. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera.
There's our plate umpire, Paul Case, who's done a fine job today. 2-2 as we go to the 8th inning. 2 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors, 10 runners left for Antioch. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 6 left on base for Freedom. Now, I'm not going to promise that this is the schedule that you'll see or when you'll see it. We're going to tape games that might not play for 2 weeks. We might have a bonus game tomorrow. We just haven't even figured that out yet. But anyway, this is what we're going to try to do. And next week, we might see Antioch again. We're going to try to do Liberty and Clayton softball. We got the Freedom girls on there in a couple of weeks. And then on the 9th, we're going to pick the best game. And hopefully we'll be back here on May 18th for the final game of the season. Yeah, on May 9th, we're talking about doing Concord and College Park softball. You know, you think of those 2 teams, you don't think of powerhouses, but you know those are the number 3 and 5 teams in the Contra Costa Times poll in softball.
Plenty of talent. Talent abounds here on the Comcast Game of the Week.
Yes. Too bad there's not a player with his last name Abounds. Childers on to work in his 2nd inning after he gets the big strikeout and gets out of the inning.
Stranding 3 runners, no less.
Absolutely. Here's Perez, then Dane James and Rebello in the 8th for Freedom. 2-2. And for some reason, Perez's number is 7, but he's wearing 18. There's a fastball for a strike.
Not very happy with that last call. Getting an explanation from the umpire. Seemed to satisfy him anyway.
Outside. When I umped, I used to just say, because I said so. That's a pretty simple explanation for it.
Yeah, usually that's never good enough, though.
It never is. Outside, 2-1. Childers can bring the
I'll
heat.
tell you.
He's
We
got a
talked
good
about
fastball.
Bryant popping the glove. That one had a nice loud pop to it.
See, the thing that's weird about this now is if Antioch ends up playing tomorrow, and they might play Deer Valley tomorrow, the rumor is that who pitches, because they pitched their 2 best pitchers today.
Yeah, it's very tough when
a lot of
high school,
injuries.
I mean, a lot of times, Dan, you have, 2, maybe 3 starting pitchers, and then you kind of sort of make do with every other spot. And as we see in this situation, a game like this, you can go through those pitchers very quickly.
Ground ball slowly hit to short. Martinez in time. Good throw that time by Martinez, who makes up for the error that allowed the 2 runs to score.
He really had to charge that ball. Able to keep coming in. It's really, you just can't sit back and wait. This grass is just eating up this ball here, Dan. But he's able to charge it, glove, and throw for the out.
Here's James, 0 for 3. First appearance against Childers. 2-2, 1 out here in the 8th. Off-speed pitch for a strike. The knuckleball he threw to Retagliata to strike him out dropped off the kitchen table.
That was a beautiful pitch. And that was just one that you really can't lay off, especially with 2 strikes. And then with that, as much movement as it had, chances are you just can't hit it either.
Good fastball that time for strike 2.
And then every now and then he can pump that one up by you too.
Well, think about the guts it took to throw a knuckleball with the bases loaded in a 2-2 count in a tie game.
Well, when it works out good, it's guts. If it works out bad, it's called stupidity.
Think of the stupidity to throw that pitch, and they scored the winning run.
But it worked out good, so it's guts.
It's guts.
You're absolutely right on that.
That's right. 0-2 to James. And that was off speed, and he kind of just pokes that one out towards center. Sanchez on the move, makes the catch.
A fine running catch by Sanchez over into left center. And then you got to be careful not to collide with your left fielder. Beautiful play by Sanchez.
Or run into the quicksand.
Or run into the quicksand. Yeah, you can take a step there that's not true and fall in your derriere, but let's take another look here. I really thought this was going to drop in for a hit. Just sort of kind of laid the bat on it there, and then Sanchez racing over from center field to make a fine running play.
Here's Rebello. 2 for 3. He has 2 of the hits today. 2 of the 4 freedom hits, as Antioch tries to get out of this one and score the winning run in the bottom of the inning. Ground ball right at Pantel, knocks it down. High throw, in time. Southall's a big target over there. 1-2-3 inning for Childers. Antioch coming up here in the bottom of the 8th, 2-2.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader. The person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Since 1980, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated has been keeping Contra Costa cool and comfortable. With an expert crew of technicians and staff, let Fresky be your indoor comfort professionals. Our Lennox Signature home comfort systems are designed to deliver efficient and economical air and heat for your individual needs. Air conditioning to heating, duct cleaning to emergency service calls. Fresky has you covered. From the homeowner to the commercial world, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated. Reliable and trusted service since 1980.
There's a look at the scoreboard, 2-2, bottom of the 8th. Short still here, working for freedom. He's pitched 7 innings.
And how about Childers? Retired all 4 batters he's faced, preserved the lead 2 innings ago, and then preserved the tie, getting the Falcons 1-2-3 in that last half inning.
Well, here's Antioch in their manufacturer run mode, where Martinez, who did it the last time, leads off, had a great bunt single his last time up. You can see Alexander's nearly playing in the batter's box.
Yeah, James over at first base had creeped up a little bit. Now he kind of retreats and plays behind first base.
Martinez is 1 for 2. A fielder's choice in the first, walked in the third, and a single, and then scored a run after the steal and the pass ball and the bunt sacrifice, and just kind of maneuvered him around the base paths there, Antioch did. And he scored the insurance run, a run they needed ultimately, and that's why we're tied at 2 here.
So they pinch into the corners. Make sure that they're ready for that bunt if in fact it does come.
And there's a hard hit ball into left field, base hit, past a diving Alexander. And so Martinez leads off with a base hit. And now there's going to be some real fun over at first base. You know he's going to play some games with Short.
As an infielder, Dan, when you come in like that, it limits your range. And this ball is really a shot. But if you play back at a normal third base position that time, you have a much better chance of make a play on that ball. But because you got to kind of watch the bunt, you got to come in, the ball spanked past you. And the leadoff hitter aboard here for Antioch, trying to win the game in the 8th.
Here's Childers, who entered the game for Bryant. So they choose not, they could pinch hit for him and replace him one time in the lineup, but they choose to leave Childers in the ballgame, and he shows bunt early. Martinez takes a big lead. The throw was high from Santos, and James made a nice play.
Yeah, nice to have a tall target out there. James gets up and gets that one, Dan, or it's down the right field line. Brandon Alexander coming way in here at third. See if Antioch can't get the sacrifice down.
There's a strike on the outside corner, off-speed pitch, and those are always the hardest to bunt, those off-speed pitches.
And now with 2 strikes, Dan, the question is, do you keep that bunt sacrifice situation on, or do you take it off? Now, depends how much faith you have in your hitter to get down a bunt.
Well, it doesn't look like Childers has a lot of faith in his ability to get down a bunt.
So no reason Coach Martin should either. You'd figure then they would take it off here and just go have him swing away.
Actually, I think the first pitch was a ball, Tony, because he's still showing bunt.
Oh, you're right.
And he bunts off the plate, and it's a good one. Out in front, James down, Martinez back to second, so the sacrifice works.
But that was still a very good play by Short to pick up that ball and make the accurate throw to get the runner at first. But as you said, Dan, sacrifice good. We'll take another look here.
Right off a home plate, took a high hop out in front. James, of course, made the play. And I think we're going to see a new pitcher, Short, who's pitched a great game here through 7 1/3 innings.
Short that was a great play to get that runner at first, barehanding the ball. Short, for as well as he pitched, if he does in fact come out here, Dan, that runner, of course, is his responsibility. Well, he could be on the hook for the loss, but we'll see if the Falcons can't get some good relief pitching as good, if not better, than Antioch has received.
I guess Freedom is making a decision here on who will play left field. It looked like Rebello, the left fielder, had come in to pitch. And if that's the case, someone needs to play left field, and Short was going to go out of the ball game. And so we'll have to wait and see. There's Gary Alexander out on the mound talking to Short. Short pitched a great game, 7 1/3 innings. 2 runs, and he's on the hook for Martinez, though. He could still be the losing pitcher in this game. And Rebello is certainly a lot harder thrower than, excuse me, now I have to check I'm telling you, Tony, the rosters, you know, they might have made a change because that looks like Palmieri. They might have put Palmieri in without telling us. Let me see who that is. No, that's Rebello, okay. The rosters are not exactly what were promised us earlier today, especially numbers-wise.
Well, you know, they actually had them in numerical order, which is a big plus, but they had the wrong names and the wrong numbers.
Well, that can hurt you. So Rebello will be the pitcher who was in left field, and now we'll wait to see who the new left fielder is. Tell us what you think about the game and the rosters or whatever you want to talk about. We want to hear from you. Give us a call at 933-6264 or send us an email at gotw@comcast.net.
So an interesting situation here. The winning run in scoring position.
Rock Bottom Records, Antioch Opticians, Images of 3 Hair Salon, the New Mecca Cafe, and Clayton Mind and Body Connections, great friends of the program here. Also Ghost Cycles, 19th Hole Casino and Lounge, Images of 3 Hair Salon, Celia's Mexican Restaurant, and Jason Hernandez Pacific Funding Group. Now, according to my roster, if this is all correct, this is what is happening for Freedom. Gasca, the DH, is in left field. The left fielder, Rebello, is pitching. And that's how simple that is. And Short is now out of the game because he was being DH'd for. So Rebello, the right-hander, into pitch, runner at second, 1 out, and the Kamajas brothers coming up. First will be Roach, as Santos goes out the mound to talk to Rebello here.
Well, Roach or Bubba, a chance to be a hero here. Can Antioch get that all-important base hit to win this ball game?
Kamajas 0 for 3 today. Reach base on an error in the second, struck out swinging in the fourth, struck out looking in the sixth. There's a fastball for a strike, and it's going to be a little different from seeing the kind of slow, curveball-dominated delivery and performance by Short, as opposed to Rebello, who looks like he's just up there throwing heat.
Rebello just 4 innings pitched so far, Dan. ERA at about 7. He's trying to get that down here.
Ball gets by the catcher, and now Antioch is 1 base away, 90 feet away from victory here.
Now, of course, changes the situation dramatically because so many more ways you can score from third base than you can from second base, particularly, Dan, with 1 out.
It looked like Santos was fooled on that. He thought it was going to be a breaking ball, and it was a fastball. And you'd already seen Rebello go out once to talk to him. Well, here you can bunt, you can squeeze. Just a sacrifice fly, although Freedom's outfield is playing very shallow right now, except for the right fielder, Combs. Strike 2, fastball outside corner.
And if you're the Freedom outfielder, you don't want to stand too far back because if you catch the ball in a position where you can't throw out the runner anyway, it doesn't matter. So you got to come in to a spot where you think you can throw out the runner from third base.
Little pop-up down the right field side. Oh, and a nice catch, but here comes the run, and Antioch wins! Antioch wins in the strangest way you could ever imagine. They 2 pass balls, and then there's the first baseman. James makes a great catch, forgets about the runner, and he scores on a sacrifice fly, barely 100 feet.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It's a great catch that shouldn't be made because running backwards, Dan, with his back to the infield and his back to home plate, he knows that he can't make the catch, turn and make the throw and get the runner. So he makes a great play, Ben, but it's the wrong play. And Antioch comes up with the 3rd run of the ball.
And the only RBI, that's the game-winning RBI by Kamajas. We'll take a break. We'll be back to wrap it up. Antioch wins 3-2. Let's see if we hear it.
My name is Alan Contando. If someone I knew were to choose a career in law enforcement, I would tell them to expect a very exciting career, a very rewarding career, but at the same time a very demanding career.
A typical shift, there's no typical shift. It can go from being extremely boring to extremely busy.
A typical shift here in Antioch, it's real busy, you go from call to call, and you never know what to expect. To be successful working with the public, it takes a lot of patience. The ability to listen probably far longer than you would normally want to.
It's not like it's on TV. It's not CSI. It's not, like all the crime shows. It's definitely a lot of paperwork, and it can be a lot more mundane at times and tedious than people expect.
Honestly, police work has allowed me to serve my family better in terms of having a stable career.
There's a lot of good people that you work with, so you feel proud to be an officer, and it's a good career to have.
It's got a lot of rewards for it. It's not really going to be getting medals and pins and bonuses and all this stuff like in the private sector. It is the rewards are going to be inside. Getting the camaraderie from the family life of being who you get to work with. Also the inner reward and satisfaction knowing you actually can make some differences in some people's lives, but you also have to accept the fact that you can't change the world.
Comcast Game of the Week is made possible in part by a generous donation from the 19th Hole Casino at West Tregallis Road. Established in 1967, the 19th Hole has been completely renovated. Open 7 days a week, they feature Texas Hold'em, no-bust 21 blackjack, lowball, high-low splits, pai-gow, and provide keno and lottery sales. Every Tuesday and Wednesday beginning at 5:30 p.m., it's a no-limit Texas Hold'em shootout with winner-take-all. Friday and Saturday night is karaoke at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 9 a.m. is the NFL ticket on all the 14 TVs. And come play in the Sunday no-limit Texas Hold'em tournament. That's the 19th hole behind the post office in Antioch. There are two types of airsoft players, the well-equipped and the targets. GamePod Combat Airsoft provides one of the largest selections of airsoft inventory in the U.S. From beginners to advanced players, GamePod has it all, specializing in competition-grade airsoft guns and accessories, tactical gear, BDUs, hydration systems, accessories, night vision, and the all-new Raptor fast attack vehicles. GamePod, where the elite will meet. Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh, featuring 14 screens of movie magic. All theaters have Lucasfilm THX digital sound systems, stadium-style seating. The prize wheel spins weekly with great prizes. The Prize Patrol, promotional events, and other activities happen monthly with great giveaways and prizes. Check out the Brendan Theater website for more information and great savings ideas. Enjoy the movie. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Dan Wall back at Antioch High School. We'll talk with Tony after this, but with Isaiah Bryant, the player of the game today, the Brendan Theaters player of the game. And Isaiah, could you ever imagine winning in a weirder way than that?
Actually, yeah, it was a pretty good. I had a pretty good time out there. I enjoyed the win as a team right there.
You guys it was a weird kind of game. It had a weird kind of vibe to it, especially after the fact that no one even knew if the game was going to happen until this morning. You guys haven't played a lot, but you pitched a magnificent game, 6 2/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, had a little trouble getting out of the 7th, an unfortunate error let them to tie the game. But when you think about it, they had no RBIs in the game, and until that last pop fly, foul ball, you guys had no RBIs in the game. Your 2 runs scored on pass balls, so very strange game today.
True.
Tell us a little bit about your pitching style. We noticed you have a great fastball. Need to probably work on the change-up curveball a little bit. Is that what you look at as you head into the future?
Yeah, actually, exactly. Every day in practice, I spend a little more time on my changes and curveballs, try to get them down because I have pretty good command on my fastball. So I just work on that. Yeah,
actually, your fastball was almost unhittable today. They actually did not hit the ball out of the outfield. Other than one single that got by the shortstop against you today. That's an amazing stat in a baseball game when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't have did it without my team. My team was there to back me up, and I give them all the props.
Okay, good. Let me ask you a question. You had a heck of a basketball season this year, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun because your team the year before won 3 games. This year you won 22 games, went to the playoffs. How did that season feel to you?
Oh, that felt good too. Actually, I enjoyed winning for a change.
Well, I want to congratulate you guys on the victory tonight. Antioch now 3-1 in the league. And by the way, Isaiah is the Brendan Theaters player of the game. Here's your tickets.
All right, thank you, sir.
Don't take a good date to that one, okay? Isaiah Bryant, player of the game, the Brendan Theaters player of the game. And we'll bring Tony back in and recap this one from Antioch.
Thank you, sir.
Tony's going to step back in. We're going to take a look at the highlights, and then we'll give you the totals in today's ball game.
Now, you talked about a strange game, Dan. It was a strange game indeed, but a very well-pitched contest.
Here's a pass
ball. On a pass ball.
So that going all the way back on that one, that was DiMaggio scoring in the first inning. He was the second batter of the first inning, and that made the score 1-0.
Did not look good for short early on.
And here's the second pass ball.
Here's another one.
And this is Martinez scoring. Martinez scored the second and third runs. He's a little disturber out there. You know, he makes things happen. And he actually made up for the error, which is always nice to see. And here it is. This is the ground ball to Martinez. This would have ended the game, a complete game victory for Isaiah, who we just talked to. But Martinez short-hopped that throw. Southall could not come up with it at first. Freedom scored 2 runs and almost got a third.
And I got to like Davis's hustle to make that a tougher play, make that throw a little more difficult.
But it was 2-2. And it stayed that way until the bottom of the 8th inning. Martinez led off with a single, ends up at third, and now watch this. Here's James, makes a great catch over his shoulder, and forgot about the runner at third. And the game, and then, of course, and we knew the Quagmire would come into play at some point in this game, and he kind of fell down there. As you said, in that one, you either got to, number one, know you're going to turn and throw right now, or let it drop foul.
Let it drop. I mean, you'll never see a game won in a stranger fashion than that on a sacrifice pop foul.
And the way
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I've seen it happen occasionally, or weird things have happened during games, but to actually have the game in that way, no. And it's just strange the way it's been around here with all the rain and all the weirdness that this game got in and played under those circumstances.
But still entertaining nonetheless.
It was very entertaining. Antioch had 3 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors, and 10 runners left on base. Freedom, 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 6 runners left on base. Sam Childers was the winning pitcher. Chris Short, who pitched very well, takes a very tough loss for Freedom. Game time 2 hours and 35 minutes. And the only RBI of the game was a foul pop-up that served as a sacrifice fly to bring Martinez home by Roach Kamajas in the bottom of the 8th inning. Isaiah Bryant was our player of the game, and that wraps it up. Your final thoughts on today's activities, Mr. Schultz?
My first baseball game of the season, and it was wonderful. I just hope, rain permitting, that we can get a few more in here before the summertime ends.
Well, we're going to try. Like we said, we might have a game for you tomorrow. Next week, we have a number of games on the schedule. Right now, it looks like next Thursday, which is Liberty at Clayton Valley Softball, looks like maybe the best bet that game could be played. The partly cloudy is up on the Weather Channel.
We can only hope.
That's all we can hope for. So we wrap up another one from Antioch High School, and we want to say goodnight to our great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week. The Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by these great friends. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek. Fresh Air Systems. Velocity Sports Performance. Contra Costa Clean Water Program and Mr. Funnelhead. Brendan Theaters in Concord of Pittsburgh. Togo's Great Sandwiches located all around the Bay Area. Our favorite is Concord, Willow Pass Road. Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. Rock Bottom Records, Antioch Opticians, Images of 3 Hair Salon, the New Mecca Cafe, Clayton Mind and Body Connections. Also Ghost Cycles, the 19th Hole Casino and Lounge, Images of 3 Hair Salon, Celia's Mexican Restaurant, and Jason Hernandez Pacific Funding Group. We would tell you what our next game was, Tony, but we're going to ask you just to check the Contra Costa Times. We'll probably have a game for you next week. Could be Antioch and Clayton baseball, could be Liberty and Clayton softball, but rest assured, Matt will find something for us to bring to you next week. For Tony Schultz, this is Dan Woll reminding you of our final score. Antioch wins in 8 innings, 3-2. This has been a high school sports production brought to you by Comcast in Walnut Creek. Thanks for watching.
So long, everybody.